It's a bad homestand, and they very easily could have been swept by the Yankees. I mean, as we know, an extra inning game where you were able to keep Aaron Judge down, and there were a couple of, kind of interesting mistakes, et cetera. Like, that was very nearly a 6 straight, ultimate double sweep at home. And if you are wondering why, I mean, it's pretty simply put, just the 3 things we've been talking about, those 3 true outcome things, the big things. Right? Remember we talked about the difference between big things and little things? And then the little things matter, right? I wrote about it. I'm willing to accept that doing some of the little things matter, but they matter on the periphery. They matter to fill in the gaps between the big things. You got to do the big things. And the 2 biggest things the Mariners were doing through the first however many games of the season leading up to this homestand was they were walking and they were hitting home runs. We talked about it. They were, 4th in home runs, 1st in walks? That's how you win. And the strikeouts came down, which was nice. And I did right. I'm not going to sit here and complain that people, complain themselves about strikeouts. I get it. The strikeouts matter too. Fine. But look at this. Look at these numbers for the homestand. These are not good. You're not going to like these. These tell the very simple story of why the Mariners just lost 5 out of 6. They hit 4 home runs in the homestand. They hit 4 home runs in 6 games. That's not going to do it. Right? 2 home runs in each series. They gave up 9. And yesterday, the 2 they gave up, while thankfully were solo shots, were the tying and winning run. Well, there you go. That's a lost ball game. You hit no home runs, they hit 2 home runs, and you lose. Sorry. Walks. So the home runs against were double, more than double, 4-9. The walks almost got to double. The Mariners walked 12 times in 6 games. 2 walks a game. They gave up 22. They gave up 22, nearly 4 a game. What, 3.5 a game? Like, that's a huge difference. 2 extra base runners a game compared to what you're getting? Major difference. And honestly, neither stat is good, but the 12 is probably worse than the 22, I think. And then if you're into the strikeout thing, I'll throw that one on there as well. And thanks to Lyle for figuring this out for me. Appreciate it, Lyle. Thank you for looking this up last night. 66 strikeouts, and you only struck out 56 batters yourself. So it's not quite as significant. It's not quite as severe. And as I said, I don't think strikeouts matter as much as home runs and walks. But, all right, I'm granting that they still matter, and you still got beat by 10 over the course of 6 games. That's nearly 2 extra strikeouts a game. Big deal. Big deal. Big deal. So, I mean, they're going to lick their wounds now. They get a day off. And I know they get to go to Chicago on this road trip. By the way, since the new Pope, Chicago's playing pretty well. Since Chicago Pope was announced as a White Sox fan, the White Sox are actually playing pretty well. Oddly, so are the Cardinals. I don't know whether those 2 things are connected, but both of those things have occurred since the announcement of Chicago Pope. So you got to go play 10 games in 10 days. Now you got to do it without Bryce Miller. We'll see if J.P. Crawford can jump back in. You still don't have George Kirby. You still don't have Logan Gilbert. I know that Kirby is likely to come back on this homestand, or on this road trip, rather, but it's not a given. I mean, I like the way they've bounced back from things so far, and I don't know how many games we've seen this year where you get some disastrous announcement before the game, and then they go out and find a way to win. But the last couple of games, you're starting to either test the limits of how many times you can do that, test the limits of how many guys can be hurt, or you're coming back to earth in some fashion. Regardless of how you look at it, and we'll dig in at 7:30 to some of the options of what they could do next. You're not going to win too many series or too many homestands when you get doubled in the homer department, nearly doubled in walks, and strike out 10 times more than the other. Not a multiple of 10, but literally 10 times. Not going to get it done. And it didn't over the weekend. And it didn't this week. And now all of a sudden that kind of good vibe deal that you had going has got to be replaced by a can you put your foot in the ground like I did with those dandelions and leverage some of that ability to bounce back that we've seen from the team this year. We haven't seen them lose a lot of these rubber match games, right? Hey, lose the first one, win the second, and then find a way to win the next one. I'm not going to sit here and panic because they finally lost one of those. but 5 out of 6, all at home, 10-game road trip, all in 10 days, no days off, 3 members of your starting rotation hurt. Yeah, this is kind of a time where you got a little one of those Brock Dental watch lists going on. Let's come back. We will give you guys Salk. What type of grass do you have? I told you what type of grass I have. It's moss and weeds. That's all I know. I know what the moss looks like. I know what the dandelions look like. That's all I know. We'll come back with Need to Know next.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What does the release of River Craycraft say about the wide receiver room?
It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing for Craycraft because he's a Coug, a solid player in this league, right? Just a consistent practice squad, special teams. But it also shows that they are interested in some young talent over there, 6'1", 185. So there's competition in that receiver room.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Alex. At just 16, she suffered trauma after a broadside collision with a delivery truck.
When I came in, they were so nice. They were just like, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of that. It's gonna be okay. Live your high school life. We got your back. And they did. I would recommend Rob because they have a passion for caring for people.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
One of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who, present The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour. See Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, The Who, performing at Climate Pledge Arena September 25th. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Who, for the very last time. The song is over. For more, visit thewho.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
John Curley here. Smart homeowners are upgrading heat pumps and air conditioners now before the summer heat wave with incredible rebates and discounts that'll save you up to $6,000. Home Comfort Alliance makes paying easy with 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance today for a free quote and save up to $6,000. For your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and golfers, how does a golf handicap level up your game? First, it levels the playing field so you can compete with golfers of any skill level. 2, shooting par isn't realistic for many of us, so a handicap can set achievable goals on your actual skill level. Lastly, tracking your progress helps you set goals towards improvement like I have. You can get a handicap index in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This hour is brought to you by Community Transit.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, the Seahawks schedule is out, and honestly, it's about as good as it could be. No back-to-back East Coast games, 4 games in primetime, 2 short weeks with Thursday Night Football coming against the Cardinals and Rams, but you get a bye week after the Monday night game at home against the Texans. You get Sunday Night Football after the bye. You get the only team you play that's coming off a bye themselves is Houston on that Monday night game. And again, you get an extra day of rest at least in preparation for it. So I don't know what else you could possibly want from the Seahawks schedule, given that, you know, who they were going to play and where they were going to play them was already set up ahead of time. No holiday games, which personally I kind of like just from a work perspective, so I don't have to work on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. Like, this schedule is ideal. The bye comes at a pretty good time in late October. Like, is there anything else you would possibly want from the Seahawks schedule? Maybe a schedule release video that made more sense.
Rockstar Spoon is back, and he's making noise.
We in Seattle, baby. Yes, sir. Shout out to the 12s. Y'all know how we do.
But he's under attack. It's the Minnesota Viking, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, it was sort of like an action figure commercial from the 80s or 90s. I mean, like, I got it.
You would have rather had Ashton Hall rubbing his face with a banana like the Jaguars did. I get it.
I would have actually liked something that had to do with the schedule. That's my only objection to some of these schedule release videos. They're fun for the most part, but I prefer the ones that actually have to do with the schedule as opposed to just they've made a movie clip that's funny and then they throw the schedule in at the end. That didn't actually have anything to do with the schedule.
The villains that were coming after the action figure were the
opponents. Kind of. But we already knew who. Like, I don't know. They were fun.
The Titans one, and theirs was like vague about the opponents too.
Theirs at least made fun of the opponents, which I like.
It did.
I'm here to make fun of the opponents, not just to list who they are. That's pretty much, I guess, where I'm coming from.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Over to Judge, swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. The Yankees have the lead, 3-2. This one is scorched. Off the board above the Mariners bullpen in left field.
That one is for Lyle, who really likes that they pitched Aaron Judge in the 8th inning yesterday. The homestand from hell finally comes to an end. It was 1 extra innings victory away from being 0-6. Mariners had the lead in the finale yesterday thanks to an early Julio double, 6 innings of 1-run ball from Luis Castillo. That was good to see. But then Spire and Vargas each allow solo shots to Bellinger and, of course, Judge. The offense not up for it. 15 strikeouts, only 2 walks to go with 6 hits, and they get outscored 36-16 on the homestand, so they fall to 23-19. The run differential is down to just plus 11. Probably not exactly where they want to be, but day off today and an opportunity to kind of compose themselves.
We're going to take one game at a time, and it sounds cliche, obviously, but that's what you have to do. And we feel pretty good each time we go to battle with this group that we have in the clubhouse. And whoever we have on the mound, we're excited. We think we got a good chance to win. So not concerned about it. We'll be ready to play and ready to fight at game time, and that's what our guys do.
Well, he says whoever we have on the mound, who is that going to be? Because Bryce Miller's not going to be on there for a couple of weeks. He heads to the IL with elbow inflammation yesterday. Now, the MRI was clean, and honestly, this news from Justin Hollander's probably about as good as it's going to get.
It's the backside of his right arm. It's not where UCL or flexor is. It's inflammation in the back of his arm, and I realize I'm on radio and now pointing at the backside of my elbow. But there's just some inflammation in there. So he had a cortisone shot yesterday. Again, he'll be down, I would anticipate, 3 to 4 days at that point with no throwing, and let the cortisone do his work and then start throwing from there. As of now, we would anticipate him being eligible or active when he's eligible again, or something close to that. So not serious.
Okay, so that's obviously the best news you could get, but it does mean that he would not return until May 27th, and that is after this 10 games and 10-day road trip. So trying to piece it together, Kirby might be able to be activated in Houston. Logan seems like a long shot. You're probably looking at least one start for someone like Jonathan Diaz, who was called up yesterday.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
We had a great talk with Pete Carroll. Going to play you most of that coming up here in just a moment. I guess I could play you a clip or two, but you know what? Let's just wait. We'll just do it. You guys, that's everything you need to know. I'll just wait, since you're going to hear almost all of this coming up right in just a minute or two. There's some really good stuff here from Pete, talking about, splitting with the Seahawks and kind of giving a different story on that than any we had really heard before. Some conversations about Tom Brady and those interactions, Geno Smith. There's a lot. Plus, he gives us some grief. You will want to hear it. It's next on Brock and Salk.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What does the release of River Craycraft say about the wide receiver room?
It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing for Craycraft because he's a Coug, a solid player in this league, right? Just a consistent practice squad, special teams. But it also shows that they are interested in some young talent over there, 6'1", 185. So there's competition in that receiver room.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow Mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle Grow Garden Soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at Le Mans, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
I got to tell you, Brock, I'm a little disappointed. I know Brady Henderson is, because he used to like when I would start every 9:30 Monday segment by saying, well, just waiting on Pete. But we don't have to wait on Pete. He's here. Oh, my gosh, there he is on video. Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Those words still sound a little funny. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. We've missed you. It's been a while. How are you?
I bet. Sure, I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're having a blast. Probably pretty easy for you guys to predict kind of what we're doing and how we're doing it, because it's very similar. And we've got a great place here to work, and the energy around this building is shifted in a direction that's really familiar and really fun, and looking forward to taking each step along the way here. We're last couple of days of OTAs phase 2, and then we'll kick it in next week and get a chance to see us look like a football team out there.
How do you keep doing this, Coach? We had Mike Mayock on earlier, and Mike marveling at just the energy and the juice that you had. We marveled at it for 14 years in Seattle. How do you just keep doing it and having the kind of juice and energy that you just bring to this job every day?
You marvel at it?
I marvel at it. Well, Salk naps 3 hours every afternoon. You know, I had my first coaches meeting last week. I don't even know if I've told you. I'm going to jump into coaching and putting the travel on the side. And yeah, I mean, my brain was tired afterwards. I went to bed early. Like, how do you just bounce around still at this age and stage the way that you do every day?
Well, it had nothing to do with how old you are. It's how much passion you have for what you're doing. You know, I don't think. I mean, I can't equate age to it at all. But it's just kind of natural thing to do. If you want to go for it, you got to go for it every day. And if I'm asking these guys to bring it, I got to bring it too. And we'll go out on the field here in an hour or so, and we're going to be pumped up, and guys are going to be running around and cheering and having a good time doing it, and they'll be hauling ass everywhere we go. That's the only way we know how to do it. So I got to make sure that I'm doing it too.
You spent a year not doing it. What did you learn during that year?
Oh, quite a bit. That's a really loaded question for me because, I had the opportunity to watch JV high school football, varsity high school football, UW, all the guys that are coaching all over the country, in the league, and I really was able to find a perspective that was totally unique to ones that I had in the last 15 or so years, really, no, the last 20 something years. And because when you get away and you relieve yourself of all of the day-to-days, and the moment-to-moment concerns, you can see things differently. And it was a marvelous year in terms of football. And I haven't changed anything philosophically other than everything's been adjusted, and I love that's happened. It happened to me when I left New England and had a big year there. Really my most favorite year ever in coaching, because I figured out, the approach that we took to USC, and everything kind of changed. I was getting fired a lot back in the day, and so we finally got our act together, and this year was, I think, and I'm hoping to show, was just as profitable for us, in terms of just tweaking and seeing things a little bit more clearly and finding a clarity that I hadn't seen in the last handful of years.
Can you give a specific on that? What has changed?
Yeah, well, there's a million things, but watching high school football, and they're running the same plays, for the most part, and the defenses are playing the same kind of defenses, and they let the same kind of plays kick your butt on all levels, and we don't need to let that happen. It doesn't have to happen like that. And so, as basic as that may sound, when you get in shotgun, you hand the ball off, Brock, and as your teams are going to do, and everybody on the defensive side knows when the guys on this side of the formation, the ball's going the other way, basically, and it still keeps working. Well, something's wrong with that, and I like I'm telling you, I saw it in JV football, and I saw it, played in the NFL all the way to the last game of the year. And so there's things that we have to do differently to not let that happen through awareness and scheme and principle and the way we play blocks and stuff. And so that's just one example. There's a million of them. That was one of them.
Was there at some point when you were watching the Islanders or watching some volleyball in September or October or November where you were like, okay, I know that I want to get back into this? This itch to get back in is definitely there. Was there kind of a moment, or just kind of build throughout the fall?
No, I just took some time off, that's all. I just got a chance to get away. I didn't change anything about what I was thinking about the game or wanting to coach or want to be part of it, That's why when I left there in Seattle, I left with, it was a little bit ambiguous to you guys what was going on right there. And I didn't want to quit on those guys, and I wasn't ready to retire. So I had to figure out a way to kind of smooth that through, because I loved what I do, and so I had a great time fishing this early in the in the fall and getting on the river and doing all of that kind of stuff. But it was with the intention that when the time came, I was going to go for it again. So
on
the
river fishing? Did you just say on the river fishing? Pete Carroll's on the river fishing, fly fishing?
Yep.
What?
But I'm not going to talk about the time of year because I don't want anybody to know I was outside of the guidelines a little bit.
I was.
I'm not giving up my spots either. You're right.
I'll admit to being a little surprised. My gut feeling was that you would find so many other things that interested you, and that you would be so excited about all the extra time you had to do all of those things that you would say, you know what, I do love coaching. It was a great chapter in my life. But there's so many other cool things. I love teaching at USC and the class you were doing, and all the other ways you can just sort of energize yourself. I will admit to being a little surprised.
Well, what was really obvious is it's the pursuit of the passion, and really that's what was obvious to me. And whether it was in the class or it was, doing stuff, studying stuff, and reading and writing and all that. There ain't nothing like this game, for me. And I mean, I love playing and love coaching and love the all the competition of it. And that was crystal clear to me. I didn't have any. That was no revelation. I just needed to see if there was an opportunity that would suit it, suit us. And so we lucked out and got in here with the Raiders to go ahead and get this thing cranking.
What was that interview process like for Pete Carroll at this stage and Super Bowl champion and everything that you did in 14 years in Seattle? What was that process like with Mark and the Raiders?
It's pretty easy, really. I mean, what could they ask me? How could they stump the band on this one? And I have a real strong feeling about the how hard it is to be a head coach. The challenges of the job and the rigors that you face aren't ones that you practice until you do it, and it's why it's so hard for young coaches to make it and be successful. And I got my butt fired twice being a young head coach and didn't know what I was doing, and I fortunately figured stuff out in the year between New England and USC that changed things for me, and I've been pretty much the same ever since. But it's there's a lot that goes into this job, and now there's really, you can't, I'm always challenged, but I'm not going to get stumped by anything that's going to come our way. So we just got to see if we can really, really do a great job of communicating and teaching and creating the energy and the juice and all that it takes to do this at a high level. But really the specificity and of the, all of the tactics and scheme and principles and situational game and all that, I mean, I couldn't have had many more chances than I've had, to get ready for it. So it's with it's a lot of confidence and something that you might not put together. The class that we did at USC was an extraordinary experience for me. Now that was really, really something, and because of the preparation and the processing of it and aligning the philosophy with teaching it to students, and with professors that I worked with and all that. It was an amazing process, and it just made me more prepared for presenting now and for standing for what I believe in now.
The name of the course was?
The Game is Life. And so it was basically, and Dean Verunsoni from the religious studies there at SC, he was a follower of the stuff that I'd done at SC. We kind of came to the university about the same time, and he had embraced the philosophy in a way that he helped me make more sense of it to deliver the message to the students. I don't know if you guys knew what happened in the class or you followed it at all, but it was an incredible experience. Now it was really, really something, and it was emotional and deep and rich and fun and all the kinds of stuff that I like doing, and we found a way to deliver a message that was really it was just one of a kind experience.
So, Brock, you guys know the voice. It's Pete Carroll. You just haven't heard him on the station in a while, but obviously you recognize the voice. Still a lot of impact around here. And just, Coach, I'm looking through our text line and just text after text coming in and just people saying they miss you and just have a lot of really compliment. Pete is unreal. I love his mentality. I love his wisdom. There's a lot coming in. So just
that's nice.
So
that's
nice.
The
people do miss you. But Brock brings up that interview, and they must have asked, hey, what happened at the end? And what's the answer to that? What did happen at the end?
It came to me that there was a time that we probably were about to face one of the bigger shifts in the time in the program, and I had really been dedicated, as John had been dedicated to, John Snyder, to doing this thing in great fashion together, and we had done that, I thought, and it was really John's turn. It was his turn to take over, and I know I had the lead voice and all of that all through that time, and I was really hoping that John could become the general manager of the club and run it, and if we could do that, and we'd figure a way to get out of that, we did, and so Jody was great about it, and so we just kind of agreed upon it that if we could work it out, I would support the thought, and that's kind of how it happened. So it's a little bit different than maybe how people perceived it. But John got his chance. I told him the first day we ever talked that I was going to help him be the best general manager in the history of professional sports. I was a little lofty, a little lofty at the time. He was like 38 at the time. He's looking at me like, "What the heck is this guy saying?" But I meant it really, and so I think that through the time he has developed, it was kind of his turn, and there was a lot of big changes that were going to happen, and that were going to they were going to have to come. And I thought we might not agree on all of those changes, because I was going to hang with some guys more than maybe he would at the time, and the changes they made have obviously turned out great. They got a good coach and a good staff, and they're rolling, and so more power to them. Hey, what a coincidence, huh? How about the opening game of the preseason? Is that out?
I don't think that's
not out yet. Oh, there you go again.
Okay, so we just. Wait do you see?
Coming up here?
Wait do you see?
Coming up here? Hey, are you going to finally break your rule?
What
of
a coincidence!
Oh, Dave Pearson's looking at you right now, shaking his head.
How do you feel about joint practices?
So is Will Kiss. Will Kiss is sitting right across me. Oh, jeez.
Can we get a joint practice, Coach? I know you were always against it, but they seem to be for it here now. Yeah. Let's do joint practices leading up to a preseason game.
Yeah, well, they're for it now because I'm not there. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're planning on doing something a little different than we've done in the past. Like a lot of things, we do some things differently, but we're not doing that one. Okay. We're not.
Well, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. What happened on that?
Let's go.
On the infamous plane ride.
Yeah,
you're sitting in coach. What the heck is up with that on the way to Indianapolis?
The report here is you were in coach while everyone else is in first class. Is that true?
Yeah.
How does that happen? Are you're just of the people? Whereas everyone, I mean, like, what's going on? Why are you in coach?
I think it's a waste of money. What's the point? I don't care. I'm sitting in the plane. I don't care who I'm sitting with or who I'm talking to. It doesn't matter to me.
All right.
I'm riding the emergency door. Who would be better on the emergency door than me?
And so that's really funny.
Is that where it started? Is that where the Geno trade conversation started? Right on that plane ride, Indianapolis, Coach? Inquiring minds want to know.
No. Heck no. No, I was trying to get that done from the moment this thing happened. I was hoping that we could do something.
Yeah.
Geno said that you guys spoke a fair amount last year. What kind of things would you guys talk about?
Supporting Geno, supporting him, and whatever came up. But basically, I was, just I love the guy, and I was just hoping he would do well and have a great experience, and knowing that it was going to be a challenge and difficult, that things are changing and all that. I've grown. Think about it. Geno was a backup for all those years. I don't know, was it 4 straight years where he hardly even played? I mean, Geno played 15 or 16 games in about a 5 or 6 year span there, whatever it was. And so there was a lot of times when we had to do stuff together to keep him going. And he was keeping me going, but I was keeping him going. And what he demonstrated to me, this remarkable connection and spirit to being ready, knowing that the very next play he may be in the game. He never forgot that. And his resolve about that, I thought, was so exceptional that when he got his turn, I was thrilled for him. And when we got our chance to go ahead and make him the starter, I believed in that too. And so this opportunity comes up, and we need a quarterback. And I mean, really, that was it, to me. It was just it was just it was a classic opportunity for us to really transition, with the quarterback position, with the coach that they see eye to eye on everything, So Gino has killed it here. He's been such a factor. The leadership that he brings and his work ethic, his mentality, and he looks great throwing football. It's been a fantastic assistance to turning this thing over.
What was it like starting after 14 years with Johnny and everything that you guys did in Seattle through the draft process? What was it like in an entirely new organization with another really young GM and obviously a minority owner that I think played probably some role through the process? Just kind of compare and contrast maybe just a little bit, Pete, of what this experience was like as a Raider versus the 14 as a Seahawk.
Well, it was very much the same, and that's why it was very similar, even to where I faltered at times because I just needed to do a really thorough job of making sure everybody was on the same page and we were connected, because I had come from that where we were so tuned in, from all aspects of the building. It's a big job to get everybody on the same page, and so it takes time. It just takes time. And so, it's hard to remember back to the first and second year that we were there in Seattle. But if you do remember that we made a bunch of transitions and we were just switching and flipping the roster to try to find out a way to make it a winning club. And we're in the same mode right now. It just takes more time than I remembered. Because, I remember the last 12 years, not the last 14 maybe as well, and the first couple of years, it's a blur. But it's been a big challenge. And Johnny Spytek is remarkable. He's on his stuff. He's so good. He's got great background. He's tough. Really an astute leader as the general manager. And but we have to totally fit together. I think that, and I've said it, I think probably over the years, that the relationship between the head coach and the general manager in the NFL is more important than any other aspect, any other factor at all, in any way you can look at it, because there's so much that we have to do together. And so, I treat that position with great respect, and I always did that with John. John did it with me, and now it's John there, John here. So it helped me out a little bit on that one.
How much interaction do you have with Tom Brady?
Pretty regular. We're phone buddies, man. He hasn't been out here, but one time I think since we've been here. But we've talked a ton of times, and talking philosophy with Tom is, well, you can imagine what a thrill it is, because he is just he's the all-time competitor, and it's not just how he played, it's how he lived and how he sees the world, and how he attacks every opportunity that he has. And so we're so eye to eye on that. It's been a blast. That's really been fun. But the challenge of it is to bring that mentality and connect it to an entire franchise, and so it was when Tom came on board here, it changed my outlook, to come here. And I thought that would be one of the great opportunities of all time, to have his presence, because his presence is strong, and big factor with John Spytek as well. They go back a ton of years, and Johnny holds him in highest of regard. And so we're trying to infuse Tom's mentality. We're trying to bring it into the organization because it's so good, and it's so unique, and he's so one of a kind that I think it helps us have the opportunity to be a one of a kind franchise.
A running back at number 6, Pete. A running back with the
hey,
6th
baby.
pick in the
See,
draft.
you guys are always griping about that stuff. Do I love running backs or what?
You
Come
do.
on. Yeah, no kidding. And so you get a guy like Ashton to come in here and bring his crazy little stuff that he can do. It was, and Spy was on it too. John Spytek he loved him too, and so.
We heard you whisper to him.
It wasn't actually Marshawn like we did in the first year, but it was the next best. You guys don't remember that. That's as much of a draft pick to me as any of them, And Marshawn was such an attractive individual to bring into our program. And how many people will ever talk about Marshawn as being an attractive individual? Not many, but. But he was really I thought the change maker for us there, in his extraordinarily unique manner. He was here on game day when we did the the first interviews, taking the job, and he's the guy that's hooting in the background, go Raiders,
Oh yeah.
And I didn't. He said he was going to come, but I didn't see him. I didn't see it in the blur of the day, and then when I come walking out of the thing, there's Marshawn just waiting for me in the hallway, and we've been together a number of times, and he was here last week talking to the team. And you can imagine that speech. We could not air that one.
Yeah, that's not for public consumption, no.
But he is such an amazing guy. And I love our relationship and the fun that we've had. It's been, and there's more to come. The whole Oakland thing. He does not see us as the Vegas Raiders. It's still the Oakland Raiders to him.
Did you bring a basketball?
Oakland Tech days die hard.
Did you bring the basketball?
What's that?
Did you put up a basketball hoop?
No.
Something new?
No. We had enough funds to go ahead and get our own.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't mean the same basketball hoop, but you put up a basketball hoop.
I mean, just because they don't have one anymore, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that.
What? So you talked to Gino in the off season, fair amount, or during last season, a fair amount. You bring him. I was
just being a friend. That was just being a friend and loving him up and supporting him through all the good stuff and the hard stuff and all of that.
What about
camp
Russ?
On,
Did you talk to Russ over the course of last year also?
Sure, a ton of times. Yeah.
And what are those? What are those?
I talked to Marshawn. I talked to Doug Baldwin. I talked to Sherm. I talked to all. When you do this thing with everything you have, and you give every bit you have and every ounce of energy and juice and love and all that, that doesn't go away. It's either when you love them, you love them. And it was a really fun part of this off season.
What was it like watching the Seahawks and all those relationships, and not just the former players, the guys that were still playing last year? As you were home watching it, was that?
I was rooting for them the whole time. Yeah, I wanted to see all those guys transition and do well. I mean, it's the same. I mean, you either love or you don't. I I love those guys, and so to see them all get going and see Big Cat have such a great finish, and all of it. Jackson do his thing, and and all of it. Because it's so challenging. I mean, Mike did a great job. It's so hard to take over a franchise, but particularly one like we had. One that had so much flavor to it and all that. And he did a great job.
All right, there you go. That was Pete Carroll. How about that? Wasn't that fun? Anybody else just like hearing Pete's voice? I mean, I don't necessarily know that all of it is 100% accurate or totally the way everything happened verbatim, but I like hearing Pete. I like hearing his voice. I like hearing the rhythm of the way he speaks. There is just something fun. And look, I've hated the Raiders my whole life, like any good, red-blooded American, but I'll be rooting for them a little bit this year. I want Pete to succeed. Hi, Brock. Good morning.
Oh, so it turns out the Raiders are in town for the preseason.
As it turns out,
yeah.
Yes.
As it turns out, just coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
Just amazing.
Yeah, I mean the NFL couldn't put them on the actual schedule because they're not allowed to do that. But just throw them on the preseason schedule. All right, buddy. Well, Brock's going to be here for the next 3 hours. Nice to have you in studio this morning. We will get to some Mariner conversation at 7:30 as they've got a pretty crucial off day today and some decisions to make, I believe. Before we get there, though, the schedule is out. How many wins do the Seahawks see in it? Well, if it's anything the way Brock sees it, the Seahawks are going to be really freaking good this year. Stick around. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
For some people that are just committed to being mad at the team or they stink, you just wait. They're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hope springs eternal during the start of the season, but unfortunately, so do spring allergies. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. We're also excited to welcome another allergy surgeon and ear surgeon to our practice. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
The first Mariners Fireworks Night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop Fireworks Show, presented by T-Mobile, after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits, fireworks, and Mariners baseball. That's two spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
JP with a flip, and they got him at first base. How in the world?
Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of all 6 Mariners Fireworks Nights this summer, including a sing-along show on June 13th and a patriotic palooza on July 3rd. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, like 3 straight Mariners value games against the Orioles starting Tuesday, June 3rd. Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you on minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
All right, the schedule is out, Brock. The Seahawks schedule has been released. Should I tell people what you texted us yesterday? What do you mean, no?
It's proprietary.
That's not
Salk.
proprietary.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on the plane, I put together a tweet. I went through the whole schedule, and I had a tweet. I have it saved on my phone. And I was like, I can't tweet this.
You have to.
No, I can't do that.
Really?
I can't be that big of a homer. Can I really?
I'm going to read it.
Can I really do it for the 12s?
I'm reading it right now. Brock writes to us yesterday, 6:42 p.m.
Oh, boy.
An hour and a half or so after the schedule was released in full.
This was when I was on the plane. This was when I was contemplating whether or not to hit send.
I keep looking at this schedule, and am I crazy to think they could win 12 games?
Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
Am I crazy? I mean, go through it, Salk. Am I crazy? Am I loco into cabeza? Is what I was thinking sitting there on the plane.
You were. That's what you were thinking?
A loco into cabeza.
Okay.
Yes, Titus had his Spanish presentation. It was pretty interesting.
I bet it was.
Yeah. No, I just, I was listening to you on Need to Know driving in, and I think you're right. Like, if you knew these were the opponents and you knew home and away, so we knew all of those things going into this. We knew the Seahawks were playing the AFC South and the NFC South, the weakest division last year. We knew by a combined record that these opponents they were playing, that they would have the 11th easiest schedule because of the South.
Right.
Right? A 474 win percentage. God bless you. Rest in peace, John Clayton. That was last year's record for those teams. And then if you knew those things going into it, those ingredients in the recipe, and you're like, all right, how do I want to make my best pasta dish tonight? Lots of cream, lots of sausage, lots of fat. And it's going to be really, really good. How do I do that? When do I put my buy? Well, let's get that buy right at the midway mark there.
I mean, week 8. I mean, anywhere in that
week
sort
5,
of 8
it beats
to
week 6, it beats week 7.
Anywhere in that 8 to 11 range is about right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get on a little roll and you don't really want to buy week 11, so you get a buy right in the middle of it. How many back-to-back East Coast trips? How many 3 games in 11 days? None of it.
They got none of that.
None of it. You got 4 10 a.m. games, and they're kind of sprinkled all throughout, and they've kind of dominated that anyway.
The only 2 back-to-back away games they have at all are the final 2 games of the season. So I guess that's a tough one. You got to go on the road for the final 2 games. One is at Carolina. So that's a long trip over basically Christmas, right? Right at the end of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finish up at San Francisco. You start home versus San Francisco. You end at San Francisco. So I do kind of like the bookend element of that. Would you prefer it to be the other way? I don't know. Maybe a hot start is just as important, right? Especially knowing you got to go to Pittsburgh in week 2. So
you know what I also love that we don't have like the Rams in 2 games in 3 weeks like we've had, in recent past. You know what else I love? What are the most difficult places in all of football to go? What are the hardest if you were to rank like the 5 hardest places over the last 5-10 years for the Seahawks and just in the league, like talent-wise? Where's the hardest places to play? Well, Arrowhead is really hard to play. At Buffalo was really hard to play. At Baltimore is really hard to play, right? At Green Bay has been just a house of, I don't like to say the word,
horrors.
Yes, for the Seahawks. So, are they playing at any of those spots?
No.
No,
we knew that already.
You did. But again, you eliminate those. I mean, San Francisco at home in the opener. Ideally, I would rather have that been, honestly, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to go with the league opponent, because San Francisco is probably they're going to be the healthiest.
Maybe.
As an old team.
I mean, you say that, but you never know. Sometimes teams aren't healthy at the beginning of the year. They get a bunch of stuff in training camp, and then guys get on the PUP list or whatever. Like, I don't know. You say that, but it's not always the case that way. Yeah, I do think this is about as good as it could be. And we're going to talk to HawkBlogger in about an hour and a half. Brian will be with us. And he was breaking this stuff down. I was looking through a bunch of his stuff that he did on it. And, I mean, he whether it's the quarterback index or the rest index or the bye week index, they're all pretty favorable for the Seahawks in terms of what they're looking at. I did spend a few minutes trying to figure out who they would play that would be coming off of a bye.
Yeah.
There's only one team. Last year, I think they had 4. The max this year, I think, is 5 They have one.
Yeah.
And
Houston, right?
and it's Houston. No, I'm sorry. It's
Washington or Houston? No.
It is Houston.
Yeah.
But that's when you have your Monday night game.
Correct.
So even though they have a bye, which obviously is an advantage for them, at least you get the extra day of rest and prep. Yep. So it kind of evens it out.
Yep.
I don't know what else you could possibly ask for in a schedule other than this. So
you get to play the Rams, by the way, after they play Detroit. And we know what happens when teams play Detroit.
That's
a week
helpful.
after. That's late in the year and what will probably be a very significant game. You know, I look at a stretch of at Jacksonville. Houston is a good team. At Washington, that's probably the three meatiest. That's a long trip. Jacksonville's got talent. I think they're going to be better coached.
Yeah.
That's not an easy.
Yeah, then Houston, then at Washington.
Correct.
Yeah. You get the bye week in the middle of that, which helps.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a pretty meaty part of the schedule.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I kind of look at that, frankly, as maybe the
but you
meatiest.
also get in weeks 2, 3, 4 at Pittsburgh, who legitimately doesn't have a quarterback.
Correct.
Versus New Orleans, who legitimately doesn't have a quarterback. And at Arizona, who legitimately doesn't have – oh, wait, they do, but he's not very good. Kyler Murray.
Yep.
So I mean, like that little run of 3 games, weeks 2, 3, 4, coming off of a Niners game at home, I mean, you've set yourself up that even if that first game doesn't go the way you want it to, weeks 2, 3, and 4 are all – I'm not going to say you're going to win those games, but they're all very winnable given the opponents.
Yeah. I don't see a horrible weather game. I don't see a Chicago late in the year, a Buffalo late in the year. You're at Tennessee, week 10 or 11. Like, okay, that's fine. Then it's Minnesota home. You're in a dome. It's Indy and LA at home. At Carolina is usually not that bad. I mean, as I looked at all the ingredients and the way that Roger and the league in Park Avenue put it together, this felt very unlike some of those years that Pete Carroll had to face. Some of those years where it was like, oh, really? You're going to do that? Come on, Raj. How many primetime games and how many, this is like, I don't know about as ideal as I could put a recipe of those teams.
So why
together.
Are they looking at 8.5 wins?
8.5?
Why is it 8.5 wins?
Yeah.
I mean, I just looked through here. Let's say you split. I don't want to go. I guess we'll go through every game very quickly.
Gosh.
But let's say you split your
better
division.
than that,
Let's just say you split your division. Okay, so that's 3 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
3 and 3.
Can you find 6 more wins if you just split the division? And I think that's a reasonable thing to ask, to split the division.
Sure.
Okay, so are there 3 more wins? Pittsburgh? Winnable.
Yeah, absolutely.
New Orleans?
Yes.
Winnable.
Yes.
Tampa?
Tampa's tough, but very winnable.
Very winnable.
At home.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Winnable. Jacksonville? Winnable.
Yep.
Houston? Very tough game.
Yep.
But by the way, I'm already at 4.
Yep.
Washington, tough game.
Yep.
At Tennessee, winnable.
Very winnable.
Minnesota, tough game.
But a rookie quarterback.
But tough game. I mean, they were really good last year. I'm not going to – I mean, yes, it's winnable, but I'm not going to put them in that category yet. These are more the like, hey, you should win some of these games. Okay. Atlanta.
You beat them last year in their place.
And different quarterback. I don't know what that looks like, but okay.
Indianapolis?
Indy? I'm not even going to put Atlanta on there. I'm going to leave Atlanta off. Right. I'm trying to be very conservative.
All right.
But okay, Indy.
Yeah.
There's 5.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yep.
There's 6.
Yeah.
So that's 6. That gets you to 9, and that's without winning, any of the iffy ones.
Games.
Now, maybe you say, hey, whatever wins you get over the iffy ones are balanced off by losses. Maybe. But even then, I would still get to 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, we don't know just by looking at the schedule. This is. I am not a big.
It could be 7 to 12. It could be 7 wins. It could be 12 wins. I just don't see this roster, this defense, this coaching staff, this alignment. I just don't see this whole operation being less than 7.
And let's be clear, you just have no idea who's going to be healthy. You don't know how healthy you're going to be. You don't know how healthy they're going to be.
Michael Penix going to be playing for Atlanta that late in the year?
Who knows, right? Are you going to see Michael Penix, or are you going to see who's going to be their backup?
Good question.
Well, as of now, it's still Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. So, fun day. It's always fun when the schedule comes out and all the teams take their little opportunity to make videos, and some of them make sense and some of them don't, and cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I definitely appreciate.
We're getting old.
No, because
I think 10 years ago I would have watched every one of those and rated every one of them and probably gotten them and been enamored with them. And yesterday I was like,
no, I think a lot of them are good. I appreciate the ones that.
I did enjoy the AI.
That was funny.
I thought the
AI was funny, and Tennessee's always funny. They did a good job with it. But I just like ones that have more to do with the actual schedule than just like, hey, we took a time to make a funny video. Anyway, whatever. Let's come back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. And then today is an off day for the Mariners. Is it going to be an action day? Does it need to be? That's coming up at 7:30. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games, hey, the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, hey, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Testing.
We are live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that smokehouse barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Upgrade to an efficient heat pump AC now before the summer heat. And Home Comfort Alliance will save you up to $6,000 limited time savings. And you can take 18 months to pay with zero interest. Call for a free quote. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. No. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
One of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who, present The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour. See Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, The Who, performing at Climate Pledge Arena September 25th. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Who for the very last time.
The song is over.
For more, visit thewho.com.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, Brock, the Seahawks schedule is out, and it's really good, honestly.
I see 12.
Brock sees 12
I see
wins.
12 for the 12s.
I appreciate that. I don't know if it's going to be 12 or not, but in terms of what could have been announced yesterday, couldn't have been better. No back-to-back East Coast games. The only two back-to-back away games, by the way, are in Carolina and then San Francisco. 4 primetime games. You were right on about that. I thought they might have one more. No holiday games. 2 short weeks. With Thursday Night Football, they come against the Cardinals and Rams, which were expected. The bye week is after your Monday night game at home, so you don't have a short week coming after Monday night. And the only team you play coming off a bye is the Texans, and you get them on a Monday night, so you get an extra day of rest. Like, this is about as good as it could be.
Like, if you were to do a perennial scale of just the most difficult places to play in the NFL year after year, fan bases and environments and field conditions and noise and all of it. Honestly, if you were to have that kind of scale, I don't know, maybe HawkBlogger found that somewhere in some database of the 32 teams. That Pittsburgh is a legitimately difficult place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Been there a bunch of different times. Actually won a few games. I think one more than lost with the teams I was on, but it's still a hard place to play. At Washington, that's become more difficult, and they're obviously trending up the right way. They have a superstar quarterback, but it's not like perennially the most difficult. Outside of those two, you avoid like the top 15 toughest places to play.
Pretty crazy.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy. So, yeah, all good news coming out yesterday on the Seahawks front. By the way, if you're interested in the pregame or the preseason games, Pete Carroll did mention to us yesterday.
Hey, what a coincidence, huh? How about the opening game of the preseason? Is that out yet?
I don't think that's out yet. Oh, there you go again.
Okay, so we just... Wait till you see.
Coming up
Wait till you see.
Wait till you see. It could be anything. Who knows? Yes, it will be the Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll, Geno Smith.
Their vice president, like Dave Pearson, who would sit in that room with us, and Pete would say something, and he'd either stare bully. Like by the end, he just kind of learned, like, oh,
whatever.
Goodness,
here we go.
What
again.
a mess I got to clean up now.
Well, they got the full ride yesterday. Pete Carroll, the
I think
ups,
that
the downs,
PR guy, I
everything
could just
in
see his
between.
head like this.
Why wouldn't the PR guy have told him to turn the AirPods upside down, though? Like, it would have been nice. Anyway, Pete was right. They will play the Raiders here in week 1 of the preseason.
Here's the second thing you need to
want
know.
to make Lyle unhappy? You have any interest in messing with Lyle today? If you
Lyle looks awake today.
I know. All you got to do is play this.
Next offer to Judge. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. The Yankees have the lead.
Look at his face.
3-2. This one is scorched off the board above the Mariners bullpen in left field. Aaron Judge,
off the
with his
bat.
15th home run of the season, was a line drive way out to left center field.
You know what, Lyle? Can I tell you something?
What's up?
You know who you kind of look like?
Who?
Aaron Judge.
I've actually heard that before.
You got a little Aaron Judge to you.
I've heard that before.
I never thought of it until I was listening to the clip and looking at your face. You've got a little Aaron Judge.
Kind of the white guy, Lake Washington Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you've got a lot of Aaron Judge.
I hear Christian Yelich a lot, but I've heard Aaron Judge
that
before.
too. If those two guys got together, like I could see Lyle.
Well, I unfortunately don't have a 252 WRC plus like Aaron Judge. You know that's higher than Barry Bonds ever had in a season? Like, people think I'm crazy for this. This is legitimately a better start to the year than Barry Bonds ever had in a full season. Like, I'm sorry, bases are empty. I don't care. I'm putting that guy on first base.
You could certainly make that argument yesterday in a tie game in the 8th inning that you're better off just not pitching to him at all. The thing is, they'd really handled him so well over the course of the series, but that final at bat was one too many. I don't know. Dan is talking here about using your closer. Was there a thought that he should have gone to Munoz there in a tie game in the 8th? They might have done that in the past, not this year.
Everybody uses their closer a little bit differently, and I think situation like that, it was Vargy's pocket, and we had talked about that, and that's what we were going with. We trust our guys down in that bullpen. Vargy's a guy that's pitched in a lot of big innings for us, a lot of leverage spots, and has really delivered in those situations, so we have faith in all the guys down there.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here to suggest you use your closer in the 8th inning. I didn't know that was, but
you know what just hit me? I think I figured something out. What? Because we talk a lot on the air, off the air, during breaks about different things, about this Dan and that Dan. You know what I think it is? I think it is what you love in baseball is trust but verify, like with numbers. And he's trust. Like, honestly, in some of these situations, and if it's close, like, do I need to verify this with numbers or not? Like, I'm going to trust my guys, and I'm going to empower and believe in my guys. I don't know if there's always the trust by verifying with numbers.
Right.
Just the traditionalists in baseball are doing so today.
I believe in this guy.
Yep, that's right.
Well, you can believe in Luis. He pitched really well yesterday after all the conversations we had. He goes 6 innings, 1-run ball against an excellent hitting lineup.
6 strikeouts, too.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. He's throwing 95, 96 throughout. He did use the 2-seamer a fair amount. Spire and Vargas, though, each allowed the solo home runs, and yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. So now, here's the hard part. You go on the road. You got to play 10 games in 10 days after today's day off. You do it in San Diego, in Chicago, where actually the White Sox have played better since the announcement of Chicago Pope, and then Houston to finish it off. And you got to do it without Bryce Miller, who yesterday goes on the 15-day IL. Now, thankfully, it's not like a worst-case scenario. Here's Justin Hollander.
It's sort of the backside of his right arm. Here's the third UCL or flexor is. It's inflammation in the back of his arm, and I realize I'm on radio and now pointing at the backside of my elbow. But there's just some inflammation in there. So he had a cortisone shot yesterday. Again, he'll be down, I would anticipate, 3 to 4 days at that point with no throwing, and let the cortisone do his work and then start throwing from there. As of now, we would anticipate him being eligible or active when he's eligible again, or something close to that.
So as good as that news could possibly be, but you're still going to be without Bryce Miller for this whole
It's not flexor
road trip. No, it's not. It's not that. But it's a whole road trip without him. And it's probably going to be the whole road trip without Logan. And maybe you get one start on that road trip from George. We'll see. You gotta, Justin was pretty clear yesterday. It's not automatic that he comes back after this next start. Yeah, here was Hollander on George Kirby.
We do want to keep in mind George didn't have a spring training. So the things that you experience over 6 starts or 7 starts in spring training, trying to condense those down into 2 or 3 starts in a AAA environment, maybe not the smartest thing we can do unless we're really confident that he's good to go.
Yeah, so they're not going to let the record dictate it or how they're doing or what they need. They got to let him dictate it. So it gets a little complicated.
What's the worst stretch of injuries they've had in our tenure?
Been a while anyway. At least off the top of my head.
I can't remember this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now 60% of your starting rotation.
We can talk through kind of why that is. We'll do some of that a little bit later in the show. Anyway, that's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour. I do have all this Pete sound that I wanted to play you. You want one cut from Pete here before we dig into some Mariners? How about the Geno Smith conversations that Pete was having over the course of last year?
Supporting Geno, supporting him, and whatever came up. But basically, I was, just I love the guy, and I was just hoping he would do well and have a great experience, and knowing that it was going to be a challenge and difficult, that things are changing and all that. growing, think about it. Gino was a backup for all those years. I don't know, was it 4 straight years where he hardly even played? I mean, Gino played 15 or 16 games in about a 5 or 6 year span there, whatever it was. And so there was a lot of times when we had to do stuff together to keep him going. And he was keeping me going, but I was keeping him going. And
Yeah, it's just support. It's just support, Brock.
Yeah,
it's
just friends.
It's just a little bit of support. That's just kind of how it goes with Pete and Gino.
Can you imagine through all of his years between coaches and players and front office people, honestly, and even you and I as jackals texting him and he gets back to us. Can you imagine on a daily basis in the offseason what his phone must have looked like? Especially on like a Monday or Tuesday.
Right. All of the people that need support from him, that kind of view him as their biggest fan and their biggest supporter.
Because he makes you feel that way.
He does.
Because he loves his guys.
Yes.
He loves the people he's been around
and
for
that came out over and over yesterday. Now, I don't know whether he's got crystal clear memory on how every little bit went down. I love this old movie, this old David Lynch movie, Lost Highway. And there's a scene in it with Bill Pullman where the cops are asking him about why he doesn't have a camera.
I like to remember things my own way. What do you mean by that? How I remembered them. Not necessarily the way they happened.
Right. He likes to remember them how he likes to remember them, not necessarily the way they happened.
Yes.
And that's why he doesn't keep a camera, because he just wants to keep it in his own brain. By the way, one of the strangest, best movies ever, Lost Highway. But anyway, it just kind of reminded me a little bit of some of what we heard from Pete. We'll come back to that over the course of the morning. Up next, though, off day for the Mariners, sometimes an action day. Does it need to be after dropping 5 of 6? I think so. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Good opportunity to talk about Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Man, does this plan work. You really can drop weight very quickly and very sustainably. And I would say it works best because it's not that hard to follow. The food's really good. It's all food that you buy at the grocery store, real food, nothing fake, nothing boxed, nothing like that. There's no pills, no drugs, no injections. So you go to the grocery store, you buy the right food, and then there's awesome recipes to cook it. And there's enough of it, so you're not hungry the whole time. That's why it works as well as it does. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is designed to develop long-term lifestyle habits that will keep you at your target weight, looking and feeling your very best. I did it. Worked for me. Ryan Rowland Smith, he's lost over 30 pounds, and it's working for him as well. And we're just 2 of the thousands of people here in this area that have made this work. For everybody, it starts with just a free 15-minute phone call. You can get that scheduled today at EastsideWeightLossClinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims like Sean, who was rear-ended in a car accident.
They're just easy to work with. They're fast. I like the fact that he had military service. I can see a lot of Marine in Rob. He's very in charge, really gets things done. But I didn't have to do anything. He offered me a settlement, had a number in my head, was nearly double that. I would refer absolutely anybody to Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Pennies! Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
I like my teacher because she helps me with my problems at school.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, off days in baseball are often action days, Brock, and today is an off day for the Mariners. It comes, of course, after they lose 5 of 6 games, and I would say, yes, they have cause for action if they want to take it today. We are a little over a quarter of the way through the season. You are more than a month and a half into this season. You're not quite at that 2-month spot yet, but you're getting very, very close. Justin Hollander was on yesterday. Great interview by Bump and Stacy. They did a really good job with breaking news coming out right as he was joining them about J.P. Crawford and about Logan and Bryce and all of that stuff. But this kind of jumped out to me. Remember that whole idea of 2 months of finding out what you got, 2 months of fixing it, 2 months of playing. Here's what Justin said about that yesterday.
Every day, starting in the offseason, we're already thinking about the trade deadline and what might be available at the trade deadline as a way to sort of balance what you're doing in the offseason versus what you might be able to do in season. And then once the season starts, we've already had conversations internally about what may be available, when it may be available. That's the job, is trying to anticipate what the market will be, read the market. If there are things to do early, which is unusual, make sure that you're on top of them. But I do think that the cliche of 2 months is true in a lot of ways. There's just not a lot to do early except prepare yourself for what may come in front of you. Yeah. Once you get to June and July.
All right, so how much action could they take today? They've lost 5 of 6, as we know. They got essentially 3 holes in the rotation right now, although all of them will likely be filled soon. The offense in the last 6 game average just 2.7 runs per game, so that's not really what you're looking for. And if you're looking for a place to start, Brock, I got to tell you, it's fairly obvious, and I don't think this is going to shock anybody, but Dominic Solano, the numbers on Solano, or Donovan Solano, excuse me. Donovan Solano has...
Don't you dare call him a Dominic.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I was...
You put that in our email, too, and I was going, is that his first name?
No, that's just a misprint. I must have been thinking about Canzone when I wrote it. Sorry. Donovan Solano, as I read it, I was like, that's not right. Although I guess if you have a 305 OPS, it's really not on me to get your name right. 305. Now, for those of you who are not as into the OPS, on base plus slugging. Hey, Lyle, what is Aaron Judge's OPS today?
That would be, good thing I have it up, 1279.
Dominic Solano's is 305. Donovan Solano's is 305. I'm really butchering this segment. Not unlike a typical Solano at bat right now. This is bad. 305. 305. If you want some comp, if you don't just want to hear it compared to Aaron Judge, let me give you the OPS numbers for some of the favorite whipping boys of Mariner fans over the course of the last few years. At this point on I think it was May 14th, so it was when I was doing the work yesterday. In May 14th, 2023, Colton Wong's OPS was 480. Solano's is 305. At no point after that did Colton Wong ever drop below 423. Solano was 305.
305.
He's nowhere near as good a hitter as Colton Wong was here in the final year of his career. And by the way, Colton Wong was in his early 30s. Solano's 37. How about A.J. Pollock? Brock, you really enjoyed the A.J. Pollock era. If I remember right, you loved watching A.J. Pollock. You really did, right? You liked it.
So good against lefties.
Similar. Both guys really brought in here to hit lefties.
So good.
A.J. Pollock never fell below 500 after May 1st. I mean, some up and down in April. I'm not going to count the April numbers. It takes a month at least for that number.
Give him mid-May. Give him mid-May, yeah.
After May 1st, A.J. Pollock never fell below 500 in terms of OPS. Now, that number's horrible, by the way. That's not a
No, league average of OPS is what, 700?
Somewhere
roughly?
in that range. It used to be 800. Now it's probably closer to 700. And A.J. Pollock never fell below 500, which is awful. But it's not 305.
305.
Hey, you know who started at DH that year? And people still love to talk about this because he's the worst hitter of all time and all that. Tommy LaStella.
Little
Tommy LaStella.
Little Tommy Barrels.
When he was cut by the Mariners, not too far into the season, understandably, again, there's no reason. He wasn't even really supposed to be here. He was just filling in until Dylan Moore was healthy.
Yep.
He had a 530 OPS.
Yep.
Little Tommy LaStella. The most, I mean, is he more hated just because of the name seems to be thrown out there with the most
I mean, seriously, that poor
frustration and anger.
That poor guy.
He's not even supposed to be here today, right? He's like Dante and Clerks, another old reference. He was cut with a 530 OPS when Ty France was cut last year.
Yeah.
662. Guys, Donovan Solano is at 305.
Dominic.
Stop it. It's 305, Brock. There's cause for action.
Yeah.
I mean, and now maybe he had the little run. It was that yesterday or the day before that he had the little run in at first base and his neck was a little awkward. If you got to just put him on the IL, fine. If you want to try to give him another shot down the road, fine. But
you know what is?
It's May 15th and 305 OPS is not going to cut it.
If you want glass half full, we're a ways away now from a few weeks ago. He's improved from a few weeks ago when he had a negative 63 WRC plus, which was apparently the 11th worst mark in the divisional era at that time.
What are we at now?
He's up to 15.
Negative 15?
Negative 15.
Or negative 15, yeah.
Negative 15.
It's an integer, Brock. There's no reason to look at the positives or negatives. Just treat it as an integer, and it's fine. Again, he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
This is not a rip job, but you can't have a 305. You cannot carry a 305 OPS in May.
No.
That's just not a thing.
No, not now with the issues you have with his injury bug that has just been rampant, that is just biting a lot of people and bit, JP to the point that he couldn't play yesterday, has bit most of your starting rotation. It's just affected your team, and he's been healthy. Like, this has not been I know he had some visa issues early in the spring, but he was still there. He's still built up. He's still ready to go. And he's looked nothing like this ever in the history of his life as a baseball player.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you look at that number, and it's just absurd.
But he's 37. None of the other guys I just mentioned were. Pollock was older. Colton Wong was like 32.
Right.
I mean, and at some point you just say, hey, we can't do this.
That's right.
Like Colton Wong, you can't carry a 480 OPS. This guy's at 300.
That's right.
He's 1 0 for 5 day away from being under 300 in terms of OPS. Guys, I think come on.
I mean, even breaking it down, again, the on base and the slugging, he's slugging 150.
Right.
And he's on basing about 150.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, by comparison, Leo Rivas has an on base percentage near 500.
Yeah.
Just an on base percentage. Like, there's just absolutely no way I could justify keeping him here.
If today is moving day and, these off days in baseball, give you an opportunity to take a little breath. After that game, as difficult a loss as it was, because you were right there, you were 1 home run away, you were 1 big hit away from winning this series and beating the Yankees and everything else, but that's the game. And they hit the home runs in the 7th and 8th to go win that sucker 3-2 against you. What are you doing today? Are you making action?
I'm making that move.
Okay.
Yeah, I am either ILing or releasing Donovan Solano.
Okay.
That happens today. Okay. And I'm probably bringing up Tyler Locklear at that point to play some first base, to be the right-handed bat version, and see what I got, because I got to determine whether or not I need to go, purchase something else down the road, as Justin was saying, before the trade deadline. Because the corner infield spots, and thank you to Lyle for kind of throwing this out here, they're problematic just when you look at the offense. Ben Williamson has a 70 WRC plus, 100 is league average. Rowdy Tellez 93 is close enough. You don't need to move on there. Solano negative 15. And by the way, Miles Mastroboni, who's done some nice things, is down to a 70 WRC plus and a 532 OPS. And that, why is he here? Positional versatility, left-handed bat. If Cole Young keeps hitting, Miles Mastroboni is not like a relevant part of the process.
Yep.
So I don't know exactly what moves you make today. I would consider making one or both of those two moves. I would consider both Locklear and Cole Young, but more because, in one case, I'd be wanting to move on from Solano, and in the other case, maybe it's just time to get Cole Young up here, and he's hitting down in the minors. Let's see what he's got.
Or they sit there and they fly down to San Diego for the Eddie Vedder Cup that begins tomorrow and say, how do we weather these next 10 games? Do we really want to throw young, people into that? Do we really want to throw Cole now into the situation? Really want to now throw Tyler Locklear, who was hot, but he too was cooled in the last week or two? Or are you going to rely and trust that at some point Donovan Solano is going to get back to a semblance?
He might, but at this point, I got to at least IL him. I can't keep going every day and knowing that Donovan Solano is one of the bats to bring off the bench. Not fair to Dan. It's not fair to the other 25 guys on the team to have a guy who is OPSing 305. 253 says some of us have been saying this was garbage months ago. Biggest move of the offseason. What a joke. Congrats for catching up, Salk. Was I sitting here telling you that Donovan Solano was going to be a godsend?
No, but I did get a text. I don't know if I can read this or not.
From who?
Friend of ours. Mutual friend of ours.
Okay.
He's really upset with us.
Why?
Not you, not me.
Just us?
Really us.
Why?
And not Lyle. He doesn't include Lyle in this because Lyle was more in his camp. Mora's just so nice. He can't be mad at Mora. So he's just mad at you and I. He's like, you understand, right? I'm like, what? What now? What did I do now?
What do we do?
Ever since you started talking about apologies. Yep. Once you two started saying.
You mean once people don't understand the word if?
People are going to have to start apologizing.
If.
And look what happens.
If.
They hit 580 as a 550 as a team OPS, 180 as a team.
Yeah.
Strike out like it was 2023.
Because the idea was we were not that high on what they had done. If it turned out we were wrong, we would need to apologize. Well, we might be. I don't know what the heck's going to happen next.
Can we apologize if, can we just do the apology pre the if apology?
No. You apologize if. That's how the if works. Okay. That's the word if. That's the word if. 206 says, what about moving on from Garver? Seems like an auto out. Guy's a backup catcher. I don't know what to tell you. There's really no reason to move on.
You see what Harry Ford's doing last couple weeks? Whew. Hot. And an arm. Oh, yeah. But again, it's probably not.
But you kind of want him to play, right? Wouldn't you rather let him keep playing at AAA?
Yes.
There's really no, backup catcher, was he going to come up and play once a week?
Yep.
I'm not telling you Garver's playing well.
This is a big 10-game road trip, man.
No kidding.
I know this is kind of what happens when you go on this winning streak of 9 in a row, and then you come home and unfortunately lose 5 of 6 in the early.
Let me deal with some of the jackals here on the text machine first. Cole Young, 233 in the minors, is not hitting. LOL. He started off horribly, and over the last, 2-3 weeks, he's been really, really good. He's been red hot.
And he's still doing what he's always done, which is he draws his walks and he's not really striking out, which is a good sign. I would just like to see this sustain for a little longer from Cole before you yank him up.
I probably would too. Again, the first move I would make today would be I would bring up Tyler Locklear. At least he's been in the big leagues before. He's right-handed bat, plays first base. You've got enough positional versatility elsewhere that you don't need to play Solano in the other positions, second or third. And I'm probably making that move. And then Masterboni and Williamson sort of become the next two guys that I'm looking at and saying, all right, if and when, right, what can you do? What can you do here on this road trip? Salk, did you ever play baseball? Not an insult, just a legit question. I did. I played high school baseball. Yes. And then where was he? Oh, Salk, are you hot in that sweater? My husband and I are sitting here talking about it. No, it's just a hoodie.
A lot of comments on your
why is everybody
going to share the comment? Divish sent us.
Divish asked if I got a free bowl of soup. Do any of the three of you know what reference that is?
Chowder.
Not Chowder. It has nothing to do with Chowder. No. Do any of the three of you know what movie that's referencing?
No, I'm sorry. What is it?
It's from Caddyshack. Oh my God! The people I
was
work
going
with,
to guess Caddyshack.
You should have.
I should have,
but you didn't. Lyle's never heard of it. Moore has never seen it.
Never
just
heard
a
of it.
disaster.
It's a stretch.
Just a total disaster.
Better at least.
Where did you get that at?
Huh?
Did you get that at Pike Place?
I'm not telling you where I got this. You know what? I'm not talking to you about my fashion. I wear the most drab clothing every day, and everyone gets mad at me about it. Then I put on like one or two things that have a little bit of oomph.
Sizzle.
And everything, you get a free bowl of soup, you hot? Leave me alone. It's a nice hoodie. Just because I don't wear free stuff every day like you do. What's the matter with you people? Let's do some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
How do you feel about people using batting average and batting average alone to make their points about who's hitting and who's not?
Atrocious, feeble. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
I got multiple texts here. Tyler Locklear is hitting 286 in Tacoma.
Yep.
So what?
I would tell those people, turn around and try again tomorrow.
By the way, 866-979-3776. Where did Salk get that sweater? Did Grandma knit it? Was it from Sears? Was it from LL Bean? Was it from Gap Kids? Where did Salk
Gap Kids
get his hoodie from?
Yeah, better question. How much money has Brock paid for every single piece of clothing in his entire wardrobe? $0. $0. Everything in it is free.
Not true.
Except when it goes on
when
TV.
Molly buys me that stuff.
The suits, yes.
Yes.
Other than the suits?
And by the way, I'm going to be putting a suit on.
Other than the suits.
I might strip down during the show. I got to put my suit on.
Other than the suits, do you
HR.
own any other piece of clothing that is not free?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Go.
I don't believe you. All right, question number 1, Brock. Will the Seahawks ever find another Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, this was a cool comment from Pete yesterday. And, you know, I've shared this a couple different times. When I was traded to the Colts, it was kind of weird for me, the first team meeting, because I had been in the NFL for 3 years. But Coach Dungy's like, Brock, I'd like you to stand with this draft class because you were our 5th-round pick. The Colts traded a 5th-round pick, believe it or not, for yours truly. So I stood with that class, and it just kind of resonated when Pete Carroll said this yesterday about Marshawn Lynch.
It wasn't actually Marshawn like we did in the first year, you know, but it was the next best. You know, you guys don't remember that. That's as much of a draft pick to me as any of them. Marshawn was such an attractive individual to bring into our program. And how many people will ever talk about Marshawn as being an attractive individual? Not many. But you know, when he was really I thought the change maker for us there in his extraordinarily unique manner.
What was he, a 4th rounder, I believe?
4th rounder.
Yeah.
Again, not the number 6 pick in the draft, Pete.
No, 4th rounder.
I remember things how I choose to remember them, not necessarily how they happen.
That's exactly right. But a 4th rounder. And think of that. I'm actually going to share
if
this.
Pete had traded a 4th rounder for Austin Genty, I think everyone would have said, yeah, it makes sense.
I'm going to share some of this message today with this group is going to be about the ordinary becoming extraordinary. How does the ordinary become extraordinary? And actually, I have a picture of Pete Carroll, and I'm going to share some of this. I mean, think of that group that brought us some of the greatest joy, that parade that Coach Carroll was referencing yesterday, that as we all close our eyes, you can kind of remember where you were on that very cold day in Seattle celebrating that. It's a 4th rounder for Marshawn, right? It is a 4th rounder for KJ. It's a 5th rounder for Cam Chancellor. It's a 5th rounder for Richard Sherman. It's an undrafted free agent in Doug Baldwin. Ordinary draft picks. Shouldn't be extraordinary. And they turned out to be so in many ways. Marshawn, the straw that stirred that drink.
All right, question number 2. Good conversation with Mike Mayock yesterday. Right before he got cut off briefly, he gave a comp for Seahawks first-round pick Gray Zabel.
And really, one of my favorite players in the entire draft was the first-round pick, Gray Zabel. Right? Reminds me a lot of the pick that Tampa Bay made a year ago for Graham Barton, the tackle out of Duke. He started every game for them at center, and he's going to be one of the best centers in the league this year.
Good pick, good comp.
I actually really like that, and kind of shame on me and you and everybody for not making that comp, and even DJ.
Yeah, it's on me.
Yeah.
I'll own it. That one's on me.
Well, I'm going to really say shame on DJ because of all those conversations. I don't think he ever brought that. I think I heard one pundit bring that up in the entirety of the draft run-up, right? It was like, well, it was all about Gray and all about his versatility, maybe his peers at North Dakota State, but not Graham Barton from Duke, who was a left tackle, like Gray Zabel was at North Dakota State, and played and had versatility, but very similar, had short arms. There was not going to be a tackle with 32-inch arms in the NFL. But you know what Graham Barton was? 6'5", 313, ran 4'9", like an athlete. And that is exactly what Gray Zabel is, and even bigger. It's 6'6" and 315 pounds. And yeah, so I think that is a very fair comp of a high football IQ guy of sliding in from tackle. Can you go from tackle to guard, tackle to center? Yes. Yeah, if you're equipped and athletic enough, and those two men certainly are.
Similar spots in the draft, too. I mean, not exactly the same, but he was a first-round pick, number 26 pick in the draft.
Well, I think Gray Zabel in that draft would have probably been 26.
Right.
When if there were 5 quarterbacks that were going to go and all these other offensive
as I said,
players.
Very similar spots.
Very, very similar.
All right, question number 3. So you were catching up with Seahawks people yesterday, huh? What'd you hear?
Yeah. I think the most common refrain was exactly what Jordan Palmer said to us at the end of that interview about the Seahawks and that Seahawk QB room. That it's the best QB room in the NFL. And how you want to define best, you can go ahead and do so, but from a variety, from experience to inexperience, from a high ceiling, developmental raw rookie quarterback to a seasoned, backup kind of guy and a Drew Lock to somebody still at 26, 27 with Sam. That's just a great dude. The overriding theme was, man, move on from all that Russ was and that Geno did become, at the end of that thing and just some of the discord between them. And now you couldn't find a better QB room. You'd have to go back to the 2001 Seahawk quarterback room to find a room like this.
That's today's Blue 88.
You remember that 2001 Seahawk QB room?
It's you and Matt and Kitna?
And Trent.
And Trent. All 4 of you?
No, Kitna was insane.
Oh, Kitna was gone.
Yeah.
He wasn't better with Kitna?
He was feisty.
I'm sure he was. I don't know, man. You're going to have a hard time convincing me on that. That was going to be hard for me. Mm-hmm. You know who's got a better quarterback room? Kansas City.
Fine.
You know who's got a better quarterback room? Baltimore. Mm-hmm. You know who's got a better quarterback room? Buffalo. I
didn't say starting quarterback.
I know, but
I said room. So.
Yeah. But the starting quarterback is 95% of the room. Mm-hmm. That I'm not. I understand.
It's kind of like a radio show. You know what a radio show needs?
Yeah.
A radio show needs
an ex-athlete.
Yeah, no. It needs people that all kind of know their roles and love doing their job.
I do appreciate
and have a joy about that, and don't come in and be bitter every day and I should be doing this. This should be my job. You do. And we know
all those things.
A lot of radio shows are like that.
All of that is true, but isn't it possible? Can't we just say it's a really good quarterback room without having to say it's the best in the league? I really like all those elements of the quarterback room. I don't want to be in a position of having to argue against it.
Yep.
But to say it's a better quarterback room than the teams that have the 5 best quarterbacks in the game, I'm probably just not going to be okay
No, I
with
think
that.
that's probably fair.
I'm just not.
I
That's
think
just not going to work
you
for
know,
me.
Salk, I'll let you have that
Thank
one.
you.
That's very, very fair.
After hearing Pete yesterday, you're willing to
Any
let me have
responses
one.
on the text toy of where you got the sweater?
Yeah, Baby Gap was a good one. They like that. Old Navy, nope.
It's not an Old Navy? I would have guessed Old Navy.
Not
Really? Interesting.
No, I got it. I think I got it from what's that site?
It does look good on. Honestly,
I like this sweater. I think it looks good.
I think for those watching on the in
Salt
person,
from
it looks good.
Goodwill, Pomona Street Fair, Mervin's. Yeah, I got it from the Penguin. No, what is the thing? Stitch Fix. I think I got it from somewhere off Stitch Fix, so I forget what the name of the company
It does look good, especially
well, thank
in
you.
person.
It's really nice of you to say. Brock's colorblind and has no idea, but still. All right, coming up next, let's get made fun of some more. It's Here's the Thing. It's every Thursday at 8, and it's next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin D3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out for baseball here at T-Mobile Park.
Home. Home is where you gather. With friends. With family.
Ball to right field. It continues. Jorge Polanco.
Sometimes even folks you don't know. But in a way, you do. Because you share at least one thing in common. And one thing can be pretty powerful when it's multiplied by 40,000.
Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Welcome home.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with a 3-day Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway against the Nationals, May 27th through May 29th. All 3 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats for as little as $11. Go to mariners.com/value games to lock in your tickets today.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
253 says that's Salk's New England Patriots hoodie. It's the Belichick line at Burlington Coat Factory. All right. That's not very nice. It's definitely from an estate sale. All right. You know, what do I do to deserve this, Brock? What have I ever done to deserve the amount of grief that I get from you and everybody else?
Well, you can
associated
dish
with the
out
show?
some of it. You can
Me?
Yeah.
What are you talking? I don't dish out anything.
Sure.
Me? What are you laughing at in there, Aaron Judge?
I was going to say, you could probably pretty easily clap Divish back here, considering I wouldn't say his style is like the greatest
The
thing
man
in the
wears
world.
shorts 12 months a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. That's why I don't even need to clap back
You
at
have
Divish.
calves like his. They can't fit into pants.
Yeah.
You show those suckers off.
I don't need to
Greatest
clap back at
attribute he's
Divish.
got.
I think Divish's fashion choices speak for themselves. I don't feel like I
All
need
right, let's
to-
go. What do we
need-
got? Here's the thing.
We've got some Here's the Thing.
Brock Eward doesn't just hate one kid.
I am so disappointed in Michael Salk.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're mindless. Love you, bye.
It's time for Brock and Salk's Here's the Thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
All right, Maura, at some point we may change up some of the intro to this bit. Please, I'm going to ask you now today. I'd like it on the record. Never ever remove the guy saying Brock Eward doesn't just hate one kid.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It makes me laugh every week.
Yep.
I freaking love it. All right, here's the thing. These are your voice messages as left for us on the Seattle Sports app, which you should download if for some reason you haven't already. And you can leave us messages, and then we'll play them Thursday morning. Maura goes through it all on Wednesday and gets this ready. Here's Coleman.
Most of the time, I semi-agree with Salk, but when he talks about Derek Carr and says, and when I see him, I could care less, I lose all respect. I could care less. You know what that means. Think about it analytically. I could care less about you caring less, which means I do care because I couldn't care less. It's I couldn't care less. It's not that hard. Sorry. I couldn't care less about how people say I could care less. Have a great one. Whatever that weird, creepy dude thing is. Love you. Bye.
All right. Well, Coleman, you were the second person to comment on this. The other was Pat Clayton, who would email me about this until I sent her the Google link or the link from the page talking about how it's essentially a sarcastic way of saying it, and it comes from the old Yiddish. And she never wrote back after that. So that was kind of the end of that conversation. Coleman, don't make me send you the fact that, it's the old Yiddish thing and that it's sarcastic. I'm sorry you don't get it. I'm sorry you're not smart enough to figure that out. These things are rough. I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad you were able to functionally use the app. I'm surprised, to be honest, that you were able to figure that out. What with your finely tuned sarcasm meter.
Let's not turn this into people being too scared to call because you're mean.
Well, that one's just dumb. Here's Brad.
Here's the thing. Brent, buddy. Thanks for checking on me last week. I really appreciate it. Just things have happened and I haven't really been leaving as many messages, but it's all good. I appreciate you. We're kind of the Larry Bird Magic Johnson of this whole thing. So, we're rivals, but, it's all love in the end. Be our gang. Love you, bye.
A part of me thinks that Brad and Brent are the same person, just playing two different roles. I got to be honest. Is there a possibility that they are the same person but playing two different characters?
I don't think so.
You don't think that there's one creepo out there who's actually named either Brad or Brent? All right, just checking. You sure?
Yep.
How about Danny? Danny, we know.
Here's the thing. It's Ryan Rowland Smith, or hyphen for short. Have you ever realized that when I'm talking, or any Aussie for that matter, I have an upwards inflection when I'm talking? So it kind of sounds like everything's a question. So let's say, for instance, I say this sentence. When I was a little ankle biter, I used to wear my dungarees and play my didgeridoo to my favorite band, Akadaka. Or this sentence, it's not a knife. I'm just dropping the kids off at the dunny. Or maybe even this sentence, dropping the shrimp off at the barbie. What do you guys think? Anyways, cheers, mate.
Why is Ryan catching strays on this show? That doesn't seem right.
Danny just does impressions. It's just his thing.
He's really good.
That's true, though. There is something about that Australian accent.
With the inflection.
It does make everything sound a little like a question. Let's see. This is either going to be funny or really stupid. This is Chad.
So here's the thing. Randy Rosarena, 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 Randy Rosarena, 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 Randy Rosarena, 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 Randy Rosarena.
Yeah, I think...
What are the chances that Lyle knows what that's from?
Well, he's stealing that from Passon.
Is he?
I played that once. Yeah,
Right.
Passon sang about a Rosarena once. Or, yeah, that clip.
Do you know what the Macarena is?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
I'm a little surprised.
Can you dance the Macarena?
That was going to be...
Can you dance the Macarena?
Can you?
Yes.
I can't.
Really?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think I could.
It's pretty easy.
I'm sure it is, but I would need to be taught.
You
know what it is?
You gonna dance at the wedding?
Depends how much I have to drink. I have answer the question I asked you the other day.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a bus back to the hotel? Probably not then.
Okay.
It's just a matter of whether or not there's a bus back to the hotel.
I think there's Ubers.
How far? How far is it?
Not
There's
that far.
Ubers in Kalispell?
Sure.
What, do you take like a herd of oxen? Bring my oxen drawn wagon. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, I've no interest in dancing the Macarena, to be honest.
All right, fine.
Here's a novel thought. Rowdy Tellez.
There it is. Was that going to be played at the wedding? Is there a
Macarena?
band or a DJ? I can't imagine it's easy to find a band in Kalispell.
We do have a trio for live music.
Oh, I like that.
Like a violin, cello.
I like that. That's good.
Walking down the aisle.
That's really
and-
nice.
yeah,
That's classy.
It's gonna be
We
classy,
did that. I like that.
Real classic.
What?
work.
How much country music should we expect?
Oh, it'll be a mix.
A mix.
Oh, it'll be some mix. Sure.
That'll be the
I mean, you
first
got a lot
wedding
of
I've ever
country
been to
ones.
with country music.
Oh, there'll be some.
That's for
yeah,
darn sure.
uh-huh.
Should I bring a huge belt buckle to wear?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Do you have an extra?
No.
Because I don't want to buy one. Those are pricey.
There's a guy who hits his name Randy Rosarena.
Every time he takes a swing at this, I think it's cosa buena.
Yeah, he did steal that from passing.
Here's a novel thought. Rowdy Tellez, your starting left guard for the Seahawks. Or right, or anywhere else on the offensive line.
You see that guy bounce off Rowdy Tellez last week?
Oh yeah.
That guy bounced like a full couple feet off of Rowdy, and he's not that small.
How would you characterize Rowdy's care factor?
Oh, what do you mean?
Just demeanor. I know he cares, but just
man, I don't know. I think he's a hustler. He runs hard. He dives for everything.
Just the body language demeanor. And it's not like always a bad thing.
He's a California guy.
Yeah.
West Coast guy. Sacramento guy.
Like, you know what would really help Macy? If her care factor came down just a little bit.
No, I get it. I think he's got I think he hustles a lot. Actually, honestly, I think he's always diving for things.
I'm not saying he's lazy.
It seems like you are.
No, I'm just saying the presentation is very laissez-faire.
I try to be very, very careful on the care factor conversation.
I know you do.
Very hard to interpret.
Yes.
Let's do one more. It's Manny from Maui.
Here's the thing, Woot Woot. The issue with the long distance thing we got going on here is obviously the time difference. Like, I'm not waking up at 3 in the morning just so I could listen live. And so sometimes I end up getting like a week behind on the show. By the time I come up with a bit or a joke, the joke's already old and maybe a little stale. Jokes like, you know who should get a part-time at Starbucks is G's mom. Maybe now Salk will finally get that Slay Cup he's coveted so much. It'll probably say something like, white chocolate, you are Slay, boo-boo. You are Slay, woot-woot. Or other jokes like, Brock Heward grew up so poor, his family couldn't afford the corrective surgery for his hammerhead shark syndrome, and now it's permanent, woot-woot. As always, appreciate you guys. Love what you guys do. Thank you for showing Maui all the love and support. As always, aloha, my brothers. Woot woot.
Maura, that's your favorite. You love Manny from Maui.
I know. We haven't had him in a while.
He brings a warm smile to your face every time. I like that.
You got the island flavor.
I got to tell you, I'll probably make it to Maui again within the next year. Maybe I'll see if I can meet Manny when I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he seems great.
Yep.
I mean, if he wants to.
I'm going to say 5'7", $138.
Really?
Surfer shorts. Yeah.
I think he's a little guy?
Oh, for sure.
Could go the other way. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Manny looks like.
Well, hopefully when he catches up, he'll get back to us.
You think, Manny?
Was he saying that about G's mom? I wouldn't say that if I were you. Like, especially not if you weigh 130 pounds.
No, he's just saying that delegation loves.
Well, that's true.
You guys talked about that. I didn't remember. Did you say specifically that his mom loved you? Maybe that
No,
was...
just the delegation.
That specific delegation of people. Age, gender,
maybe you guys had said
race,
loves
etc.
your delegation.
Tends to like me, specifically. All right, that is it. Here's the thing. You guys can leave us messages by downloading the app, and every Thursday at 8 o'clock, we go through those. HawkBlogger, Brian Nemhauser, going to join us in 20 minutes to talk through the Seahawks schedule, which he has gone in-depth on.
Every index you could ever imagine.
Want the most over-indexed version of this schedule, it's coming for you in 20 minutes after Need to Know next.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
One of the greatest bands in rock history, The Who, present The Song Is Over, the North American Farewell Tour. See Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, The Who, performing at Climate Pledge Arena September 25th. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Who, for the very last time. The song is over. For more, visit thewho.com.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know.
Give you
up first.
As you should. Seahawks schedule is out, Brock. Man, G's coming in here in the break, spitting fire. He'll be in tomorrow at 8:30 with a very hot take on this Seahawks schedule. That's for sure. I think it's pretty darn good. I don't know what else you'd possibly be hoping for yesterday from the schedule. Maybe a fifth primetime game. That would have been nice.
And if you win, by the way, late in the year,
you could get one.
Could be that, right?
But other than that, I mean,
Rams could be that. San Fran at the end of the year could be that. Like
you only get 2 short weeks. You get a bye week after your Monday night game. So what could have been another short week turns into not a short week. That's like the perfect time to have a bye week, right? After a Monday night game. Yeah, you do. I screwed it up earlier. I'm sorry. You do have 2 back-to-back road trips, but neither of them are particularly difficult. One is Tennessee and L.A. The other is Carolina, San Fran. So at least one of the 2 trips is short in both cases. So
yeah,
I don't know. Looking at the schedule, it looks pretty good.
4 10 a.m. games. You really do. You know, when you look at the NFL through the years, the one thing you can count on, right? Every year we get new playoff teams. Every year somebody that's supposed to be good is terrible, someone terrible good. But you do know some of the toughest venues in all the land to play in Buffalo and Green Bay and Arrowhead. There's just brutal places to go in and try to win. You don't really have many of those on your schedule either. Atlanta's not a hard place to play. Tennessee, Carolina, the Rams, Arizona, not hard places to play, save for that week 2 at Pittsburgh. And, you know, no matter who they have, and even if they don't have a quarterback, and whether it's Aaron Rodgers or not.
I know, but they don't have a quarterback right now.
Yep.
It is kind of fun, though. You're going to get to see Pete and Gino week 1 of the preseason, DK week 2 of the season. Well, that's kind of fun, right? I mean, that's definitely like a little bit of entertainment
I'm going to
early in the
guess
year.
that will be a sold out. And our guest in 10 minutes said he would buy tickets to that one. I'm going to guess that's going to be a sold out preseason game number 1.
We got a text from somebody earlier. It's like, I don't see why you're even talking about it. Who cares? It's not going to be interesting at all. Like, shut up. Yes, it is. It is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's a preseason game.
Yeah,
it doesn't
likes to
matter.
play his guys, right?
But also, it's just going to be interesting.
Yes.
Of course it is. You're telling me it won't be interesting to have Pete and Gino here for the first preseason game? Your first glimpse of what the team looks like?
You know what people,
of course it will
what
be.
people look good into? Silver and black.
Will he?
Oh,
he
with
looks
his
good in
silver
everything.
hair. I know, he looks good in everything,
He
but he'll
looks
look
good in everything.
Here's the second thing you need to
He wouldn't
know.
look as good in Green Bay.
Yes, he would.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he
not
would.
as good. Not
He'd
as good
still
as he's
look
going to
real
look
in the
silver and
yellow.
black.
Yeah, he'd look sharp. Pete looks good in everything. How dare you? How dare you say those things about Pete Carroll? Well, Brock, the Mariners had a tough week. We went through some of the details of this earlier. Kind of a homestand from hell, honestly. You go 1-5. It very easily could have been 0-6. Thank God they won that extra inning game in the 11th. Yesterday, it was not Luis Castillo's fault. He was great. Went 6 innings, 1-run ball, gave up that 1 run in the 6th, but then got himself out of the jam, throwing in the mid-90s. He looked like Luis Castillo. The slider was excellent yesterday, but unfortunately, the bullpen gives it up. Spire gives up a solo shot to Bellinger, and then Vargas a solo shot to Aaron Judge, a ball that was hit about as hard as any ball you will ever see. It was, it was not good.
Another close ball game today. Seems like we play a lot of close ones with the Yankees and, come up on the short end of this one. But, Rock, I thought, was very solid. All the way through 6 again, mixing and matching, had a good fastball, but able to use that changeup and slider very effectively as well.
That's true, but 15 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 6 hits. That's probably not going to get it done. You get outscored 36-16 on the homestand.
Yeah, not good. And to add insult to injury, there was also injury too.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about what with Logan and Kirby coming back now. Third guy in your rotation has to get a cortisone shot behind his elbow, that being Bryce Miller.
Yep, that's not great. And then JP missed the game yesterday.
Yeah, he had a little shoulder tightness when he got up this morning, and wasn't able to get it loose. So he's just day to day. We'll know more tomorrow.
I can't remember, honestly, this nasty little injury bug biting the way it has.
I've been thinking a little bit about it. On one hand, and the pitching is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can do to prepare for it. It is 100% luck of the draw. You don't know when your pitchers are going to be healthy. You don't know when they're not. I mean, these guys have been healthy for a long time. We all knew that this was a possibility. We discussed it over and over. Do you have enough depth in your rotation to handle it? So far, the answer has been yes.
But Dylan Moore's got a hip. Randy's got a hamstring. Roblay's got a broken bone.
And to that, I do ask. I don't know, but I ask, is that related to the style of play? The more you run, the more you hit the ground, the more you slide, the more you sprint, the more aggressive you are over the course of a full 162, what kind of an effect does that have on your health? I think it's related, but I don't have evidence to prove that, other than just hearing from some baseball folks over the course of my career that it does take a lot out of you. And if that ends up leading to more injuries, I don't know that would be like a huge surprise.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Playing sound from Pete Carroll, who joined us yesterday over the course of the morning. I like this. This was Pete when we asked him about Tom Brady and how often he gets to talk to him.
Pretty regular. We're phone buddies, man. He hasn't been out here but one time, I think, since we've been here. But we've talked a ton of times, and talking philosophy with Tom is, well, you can imagine what a thrill it is, because he is just he's the all-time competitor, and it's not just how he played, it's how he lived and how he sees the world, and how he attacks every opportunity that he has. And so we're so eye to eye on that. It's been a blast. That's really been fun. But the challenge of it is to bring that mentality and connect it to an entire franchise, and so it was when Tom came on board here, it changed my outlook to come here. I mean, I thought that would be one of the great opportunities of all time, to have his presence, because his presence is strong.
His presence is strong.
I bet it is. So those two guys talking ball together?
That'd be pretty cool. And you know what Pete always loved when we would talk to Pete on and off the air? He loved being a Bay Area guy and growing up. He loved the 70s Raiders. They were so colorful. And think of that pendulum. You got Tom Brady on that one end, and then you bring in Marshawn Lynch on the other end.
Yeah.
And
I think but isn't that Pete?
That's absolutely the
drawing in from everything.
Of culture that he wants.
Yeah.
Hey, had your Uncle Jonas not just given away the vaccine?
Yeah. And I had a little cash.
And you had a lot of money. Would you ever want to be a minority owner of a sports team?
I mean, why wouldn't I be?
Okay.
It's guaranteed money going up. That's everything you need to know. Speaking of that, did you see the news? Just a small little, just again, I pointed the story out. It's just one to follow. Headline at Sportico. I'm not sure exactly. Sportico. Do you see the Sportico
Is this
headline today?
Nicolas Cage playing John Madden?
Nope.
No.
Mark Cuban to serve as general partner in new $750 million private equity sports fund, targeting minority stakes in NBA, Major League Baseball, and NFL franchises. The fund looks to raise $750 million by 2027. Just keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on it.
Keep an eye on that one?
Just keep your eye on that one.
Which one? My right? My left? I'm good.
For you,
Yeah.
Brock, let's stick it in the middle and you can kind of cross-eye it and see what happens. Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, went as deep into the schedule breakdown as you could possibly imagine, and he's going to do it with us on video if you're watching on YouTube next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those two games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I appreciate the off-the-air comments, at least. They were much nicer about my sweater. I look good because I lost some weight, thanks to Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. And you guys can as well. This plan is so easy to follow. It really is. You just go buy the right food at the grocery store. They give you the recipes to cook it, and then the food tastes good. It's not fake. It's not box meals. There's no pills, no drugs, no injections, just real food with great recipes. And you're not hungry because you're eating the right portions and the right types of food. So it's really not that hard to follow at all. And you will watch the weight simply fall off of you. Worked for me as I lost 35 pounds. Ryan Roland Smith's lost 30 plus as well. I know there's thousands of others, and we hear from them all the time, people here in the Northwest who have lost a ton of weight with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It all starts with a 15-minute phone call. Schedule that now at EastsideWeightLossClinic.com and just see if it's right for you. Again, EastsideWeightLossClinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, Your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected. Your floor mats are cleaned and delivered. And your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Alex. At just 16, she suffered trauma after a broadside collision with a delivery truck.
When I came in, they were so nice. They were just like, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of that. It's gonna be okay. Live your high school life. We got your back. And they did. I would recommend Rob because they have a passion for caring for people.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Schedule came out last night, Brock. A nice diversion from the terrible homestand that the Mariners were just wrapping up in the morning. So at least you had something good to look forward to last night. And then the schedule comes out, and it's awesome.
Does it bother you that have all these little leaks?
No.
A leak here, a leak there, everywhere, leak everywhere.
Nope.
Oh,
doesn't bother me at all.
I hate it.
Why?
Because I want it all in one.
Oh, my God. You're such a loser. No,
Yes.
dude, like, whatever. Who cares?
I don't want to know who's picked before. I
don't want
to
that
react
either.
to Gray Zabel. I want to react in real time.
You're not getting the whole schedule.
I don't like
you just
it.
get little bits and pieces.
I don't like it at all.
Oh, my God. That is... hold that up for trash takes for next week.
Great.
Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, joining us right now. No, there's two of me. That's even... okay, there we go.
Hey.
There he is. Hey, buddy. How we doing?
Look at that pro.
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Do you like the little leaks? A leak here, leak there, everywhere, a leak everywhere.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to be a fence sitter on this one because I actually am with you, Brock. I'd rather have the suspense and get it announced one by one, you know, at 5.
No.
But now that I'm covering the team, it's helpful to make my travel plans early and get those tickets booked before they start getting
That is fair. What's the best trip this year?
Oh, Nashville. Easy. Easy.
That's true. They got that new. Is their stadium new? They got their new stadium up and going, or is that still under construction?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I should, but I'm more interested in what's outside the stadium in Nashville than I am what's inside.
Hot chicken guy?
Sure. Heck yeah. I love live music, too. I mean, come on. Great place to listen to live music.
You know what's happening in Nashville in 2 weeks? Haley Heward's bachelorette party.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh, wow.
That's going to be some tall blonde girls in hats. This is what it sounds like. That's kind of what that whole experience sounds like. All right, so what jumped out? I read a lot of your stuff yesterday on the schedule because I'm not a big schedule guy. I lean into other people that are, and you seem to be as big a schedule guy as there is. You got all kinds of great information on the schedule.
Where do you find your indexes?
Yeah, seriously, your indices.
My indexes. I don't know, man. They all just come like I didn't sleep much last night, Mike. I actually
believe it.
Woke up at 3:45 and I was like, oh man, rest differential. I haven't looked at rest differential for the schedule, so let's go figure that out. Yeah, I think honestly, this has got to be one of the most friendly schedules that the Seahawks have had from the NFL. And I'm not talking about the opponents because the opponents are already set. But you don't have any back-to-back East Coast road trips. One of the things with this schedule is there's a lot of East Coast trips. They might not be the best teams, a lot of East Coast travel. They don't have a lot of back-to-back of that. They have a middle of the year bye week. They don't face a lot of tough blocks where you've got these just murderers row that they've had the past few years. You don't have any of these 3 games in 11 days kind of things like they did last year. So there's a lot of things that, they could have played on an international. They could have played, on Christmas or one of these other games that really can mess with team schedules. For the most part, it's a pretty vanilla schedule and pretty much just you play the teams you got, and if you're the best team, you're going to win.
Salk and I have hammered this for a couple hours now, looking at it just myopically through the Seahawks. What about the Rams? What about the Niners? What about the Cardinals? What about taking care of your division first? How did it set up for those 3 as well?
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I think that the Rams schedule is considerably harder than the Seahawks schedule. And I think the 49ers schedule is the easiest in the NFL by almost any measure. Not only do the 49ers, play the opponents with the lowest winning percentage of anyone in the NFL combined, they also have one of the largest rest advantages. Last year they had a historically bad rest differential. Teams that were coming off bye weeks, and the 49ers were not, and playing that over and over again can add up. But the Rams, I mean, I think that opening slate is pretty tough.
Pretty brutal.
You've got a lot of games on the road. You've got at Philly. You've got at Baltimore. Do the Seahawks have a single away game that you think is as tough as either of those 2 games for the Seahawks?
I mean, at Washington, depending, if they continue their upward trajectory, and certainly the league thinks and believes, I think, in DQ and Jaden, because they have a ton of primetime games. But
that's going to be fun, by the way. Coming off a bye, week 9, early November in Washington on Sunday Night Football. That's pretty good. That's a highlight game right there.
Well, Mike, I think if I remember right, you and I have different feelings about D.C. So I went to school, and I went to college in D.C., American University. I love D.C., man. I love D.C. Great food, great city, a lot of stuff to do there. So I'm looking forward to going back and seeing a bunch of old friends.
I would just say great place to visit. I like to visit D.C. I don't know if I would want to live there again. I did that for most of a year.
But outside of that, Brian, and at Pittsburgh, honestly, I was saying that to Salk earlier, rank the top 10 over the last 10 years, the most difficult places to play in the NFL. Buffalo and Green Bay and Arrowhead and Baltimore. Like, you don't go to any of them. Right, if you're the Seahawks, and yes, Washington had a great year last year and are trending the right way. Pittsburgh without kind of an offensive identity and a quarterback. I mean, those are the 2 most difficult, I think, on paper road trips, but not like LA's got with that first place schedule.
And Brock, you'll remember this. This is probably a little before your time, Mike, at least in this market, but But the Seahawks played at Jacksonville back in, I think, the Super Bowl year in 2005 and the first week of the season, and they dropped that game. It was hot, humid, like guys are getting IVs. Playing Jacksonville in October, I think, is a little bit better than playing them in September. So even little things like that are beneficial.
Yep.
Key win. Like as you look through the schedule, we keep seeing 8.5 as a Seahawks win total, which feels pretty low to me. Just kind of looking through the schedule, and I know you can't do wins and losses now. You don't even know who's going to be playing for half these teams by the middle of the season. But still, I mean, I definitely see 9 or 10 pretty winnable games for the Seahawks. If they get to 10-12 instead of 8-9, which games will be the key?
Well, you got to start with the first game. I mean, that game is, I think, the biggest game on the whole schedule. Home against the 49ers. That's a team that's had your number. You got one in San Francisco last year, and they're going to come into that game with an expectation that they are going to reassert themselves as the bully in the division. The Seahawks are coming in with the expectation to show that they're no longer the pushovers. And the other interesting thing with that is, with it being the first game of the season, are the 49ers fans going to take over the way they did last year? Because, I think the first game, season opener, you're probably more likely to get season ticket holders to attend. But that's going to be interesting. I think that's a storyline there. If they get that win, I think it sets up their whole season. I think the first 2 weeks of the season in general are going to set up their whole season, because if they manage to get both of those wins, I think they're skiing downhill the rest of the way.
Aside, HawkBlogger here with us, aside from crushing Salk on your home course, aside from, studying indexes of every measurable variety with the schedule, you also, if I remember right, last year, didn't you kind of have an inkling to try to help with the resale of tickets and try not to see the stands full of the Mafia and the Cheeseheads and the Niner fans? What did you make of the Seahawks? What was it, last week?
This week.
It was this week already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess we talked about it on Monday. Yeah. What did you make of the Seahawks, and how did that strike you with what they're trying to do in the resale market?
I think it's exactly the right thing for them to do. It's a gesture more than I think it's going to have a massive impact on what's going to happen. When I met with dozens of season ticket holders last year, had a town hall conversation about why they were selling tickets in what situations. I did a poll with hundreds, almost thousands of season ticket holders. Did a bunch of research on this, and honestly, the basic thing is going to be, if the team wins, you're going to get more home fans. That's just the reality. But we've had ups and downs before, so what's different? I think what's different is the prices of tickets are different, and they continue to go up, and they did go up again this year. I still, and the team and I see this differently. I've had many conversations with folks in the organization about this. I think the variable pricing is a big factor. They do not. So the fact of the matter that a ticket against the 49ers on prime time might be 10 times more expensive face value than a game against another team basically signals to a season ticket holder, I'm going to sell that seat because that's going to cover a big portion of my season tickets. And that means, by default, you're getting people selling the biggest games of the season against your biggest opponents, and I think that that's a problem. So I personally would like to see a change in the variable pricing.
Going besides and beyond the schedule, we're talking to Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, and you can find him at HawkBlogger.com and all the other places where he puts out great content. Maura asked me a question yesterday, asked all of us a question yesterday. I'm going to throw it back at you. Over under 3.5 touchdowns for Jalen Milroe this year.
Is that any sort of
Any
touchdown?
kind of touchdown.
Ooh, Maura with a great question. I love that. Why would you not take the over?
Thank you.
I mean, who wants to be the guy taking the under on that? Like, that's not a fun take.
He's going to have 4 touchdowns in one game. He is going to be that's an exaggeration. I think he blows by that. Honestly, I think he blows by that. I think they find different ways to use him in and around the goal line. I think he runs for 4 touchdowns this year. How about that? I think he has 4 non-throwing touchdowns this year.
I mean, think about it. If you're in a short yardage situation at the goal line, why would you not have him in there? Why would you not have him and his old Alabama backfield mate, Robbie Oots, and whether it's Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, maybe Damian Martinez starts getting in there. Maybe Byron Murphy gets in there as a fullback. Who knows? But, like, give me that goal line setup. And I think, Jalen Milroe is just a huge weapon. Why would you not use him down there?
Yeah, I think the answer the coaches would say was, do you remember some of those snaps that went awry? And that was with Connor Williams and Geno down in that zone last year, that it's hard enough at times to have perfect continuity between QB and center that work together every day, Brian. And this is just what coaches would say. And then I'm going to bring in this package and that package, and he's going to handle this and he's got to handle that. And guys handling the ball that don't handle it the rest of the game, all of a sudden are playing 4 plays and not 60. I think that there's probably another side. Certainly from a coach's element that would say, hey, boys, hold your horses just a little bit.
Where are you on? There's always another side. I don't know if I agree with it. I would say Connor Williams had snapping problems throughout his career. Connor Williams was the problem.
You think so?
I think, hey, Brock, from what I hear, Clint Kubiak's an under center guy. So
Yes,
let's
he
get
is.
Jalen Milroe under center. You should have fewer of those types of issues.
Okay, from what I hear, you bought out the whole stadium yesterday with Pete Carroll coming to town for preseason game number 1. Did I hear that right?
Man, how fun's that going to be? It was great hearing him on your show yesterday, and it's such a fascinating relationship that I think Seahawks fans have with that guy, and credit to him for bringing the first championship to this franchise, and he's just a beloved figure. Even though I was one of the people that was advocating for, I think, a change at that position in the organization, I still think that was the right move. I'm certainly going to be rooting for Pete Carroll down in Vegas. I'm going to be rooting for Geno Smith down in Vegas. I hope that I think they're going to, 6.5 was their over under. I think that's an easy over to me too. When does Pete Carroll ever lost? Like, when has he ever won less than 7 games?
Yeah.
He just doesn't do it.
That's going to be hard. I'm going to have to figure out how I can root for Pete but not for Geno all at the same time. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I got to figure. I mean, they're on the same team. Well, I really love one of those guys, really don't like the other. So it's going to be really interesting to try to figure out how to. I'll twist myself into sort of a mental pretzel to try to.
Biggest takeaway from our 25 minutes with Pete yesterday. Anything jump out to you as you've listened to him over his 14 years here in Seattle regularly?
I think one of the most endearing parts, and it's not just from your conversation yesterday, which was fantastic, but also listening to him at the owners' meeting and at the combine. He was not aware of the depth of the relationship he's got with the Seattle fan base and the Seahawks fan base in the Seattle area, and the fact that he's still up here, and the fact that he cherishes that the way he does. I think that's a really charming aspect of a guy that's already incredibly endearing. And the Northwest is always kind of the perennial underdog and the forgotten part of the country, and so having someone come up here and love it the way I think I would say love him. I think that's probably a fair thing.
Yeah, most endearing.
I think that's a great story.
And most beloved coach in this market's history. I mean, Don James is way, way up there with what he did in the 70s and the 80s and winning the national title in the 90s. Lou Piniella, even though he didn't get the team to a World Series, 116 wins, and his fire and his temperament and elevating everybody. I mean, Lou Piniella is going to be on that list. But most beloved and most revered, Lenny Wilkins, obviously winning the title in the 70s. Been a long time ago.
A long time. I think it's Pete. I mean,
be hard-pressed
certainly
to
in my
argue
time here. I was not here for the other
over
two.
the last 30, 40, 50 years in Pete Carroll.
Just coming back to this team for a minute, talking to HawkBlogger Brian Nemhauser, did they do enough on the offensive line for all of the success I think they had in the draft? Is their offensive line going to be good enough?
Yeah, well, look, I was on with you guys, and I was pretty clear in my recipe, which was you got to have a veteran. You can't take the youngest offensive line and just add a rookie to it and expect it to be enough. So I can't be a hypocrite and come on here and say, no, they did perfectly, because I don't think this is the ideal outcome for them. And they wouldn't say it was the ideal outcome. They wanted Will Fries, and they didn't get him. But here's the thing, guys. They've taken the higher risk path, but it's the higher reward path. If Gray Zabel is as good of a player as I think he is, and he was the first guy I mentioned to you when we talked at the Senior Bowl, I think that this line, being this young, coming together, growing together, could wind up being together for a long time and be very good if John Benton, if this scheme, if it all coalesces. But there's a lot of risk. There's just... Admittedly, there is a lot of risk. I don't think Mike, that there's a good chance that this will be a worse offensive line than last year. And I'll tell you why. Abe Lucas is going to be healthier. Abe Lucas is a very good player. He might end up being the best lineman on that group. You're not going to have Mike Jarrell and George Fant and Stone Forsythe out there.
Oh, there's another pressure. Of Stone.
Poor Stone.
39th pressure in 6 games.
Yeah, tough go of it last year. Yeah, it wasn't good. Okay.
And then you've got a pile at one guard position where you're trying to figure out between Anthony Bradford, Satawa Lamea, Christian Haynes, Bryce Cabledew, who I would not count out Bryce Cabledew. The best man win. Olo Timmy was not a problem last year, and if Jalen Sundell beats him out, all the better. So I don't think there's the downside risk of this offensive line the way there was last year, but they're young and they're going to have to develop quickly.
Last thing for me here for you, Brian. Give me the next 2 or 3 headlines you want from the Seahawks. Transactions, moves, is there a trade? Is there just a common sense? Let's just get these next 2 or 3 things done with the agenda of business.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think the cornerback position's the obvious one, and they've already had Shaquille Griffin and Rasul Douglas in. I personally prefer Rasul Douglas. I like the bigger, stronger corner. I like the guy who's made more plays on the football, has more interceptions, 17 in his career versus I think 7 for Shaquille Griffin. Shaquille Griffin never was great at getting his head turned around, so I'd like to see them make that move, although Shaquille Griffin was the better corner last year, so up to the Seahawks to determine, obviously, if that's a trend for Rasul Douglas downward. Interesting also, those guys were picked, I think, 9 picks apart in
the 3rd round. Yeah.
So, one after the other. Outside of that, honestly, there's not an additional, I would have liked them to add a nose tackle beyond the ones that they've got. And, Jonathan Hankins obviously is an experienced guy. I think that they could have done something in the draft. It turns out when I asked Mike McDonald and John Schneider about that, said it just didn't fall their way. But I think that's one to watch.
Charles Cross contract? Do you want somebody, one of these guys? You got a lot of money, right? You got a lot of cap space, more than I think you've ever had sitting at this point in mid-May. You want to take care of your own?
That's the next place. June is typically when those extensions start to come in. And honestly, Brock, that's just a matter of managing cash and cap. And they've got the cap space to do it this year. If they don't want to spend the money on the cash to do all the signing bonus this year, they can push it out. I think Kobe Bryant's on that list. I think Riq Woolen's an interesting one to watch. I think most people expect them to wait. But I think Riq Woolen is one of the most underrated parts of that Seahawks defense. And while he's got some growing to do, he's one of the most talented players. So I would not bet against him being one of the guys that they extend probably later in the year.
Training camp starts end of July. You get out there for the first training camp with the entire squad out there together. Who's the first person, the first newcomer, the first rookie or new player that your eyes are going to go to?
Yeah, I mean, the first guy that, I would be wanting to watch is Sam Darnold. I mean, the whole season really is going to ride on whether he can operate this offense effectively. And so seeing him in combination with those guys, that's probably first. Obviously, when pads come on, seeing Gray Zabel, seeing that whole offensive line, that's going to be really important to see. And the other guy that I just throw out there, Tony Horton. I think this guy has the potential to be a bigger part of this offense and play a bigger role than people realize. So I'm really curious to see what he looks like out there with the rest of them.
Good stuff, man. Thank you
nice studio too.
I know, doesn't that look nice?
Professionally lit.
If you want the quarterback index, if you want the strength of schedule index, the rest index, all the various indices are all
win-loss percentage index.
They're all from HawkBlogger.
Most favorable schedule index.
Nice job. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right, there you go. Brian Nemhauser, better known as HawkBlogger, Brock.
You want a little rumor, by the way?
A rumor?
Yeah,
of course I want a rumor.
Fleetwood, was that the title of the
Rumors?
Fleetwood Mac? Ooh, that's a good album.
It's
right?
one of the all-time best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little rumor out there.
Little rumor.
Old Will Fries may need another surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
already?
Yeah.
That didn't take long.
Just a little. We'll see whether it comes to fruition or not, but just keep an eye on that one.
Okay.
Sometimes the best deal you do is the deal you don't do.
Sometimes.
Right? In real estate. And sometimes, you miss out on opportunity upsides.
We have just a minute or two here. You want me to read you some fun stuff? I didn't get a chance to do this earlier, but it's always fun to read the Apple podcast reviews, Brock. I got a little upset the other day that we hadn't had one in a while. Mm-hmm. So I thought, my God, we got like 15 of them. All 5-star reviews? What? I don't even know what to make of all this.
Have we gone up? Have we surpassed the Mike Salk show rating yet?
No, we're still at 4.6.
It's just ridiculous.
Love the show. As a truck driver, works a third shift. I usually catch the show later in the evening, but nevertheless, it's my first go-to show. Salk used to annoy me at first, but eventually he grew on me, and now I respect his sports knowledge. Keep up the good work, y'all. Thank you. That's nice. Where did this one go? Mostly good, one bad egg. I love Salk's takes on the Mariners and appreciate his willingness to adapt to his opinion on roster construction and key stats like strikeouts. We've been waiting for you to come along, Salk, and I'm so glad to see you moving toward the right side. Brock's football takes are always informational and fill in knowledge gaps I have. His draft profiles this year were on point. Moore does a great job filling in gaps and coming up with fun segment ideas. Then there's Lyle, who I should say I do like listening to and enjoy his Marine Layer podcast. However, this whole routine of never bunt, it's always a waste, is immature and naive, and to say there's absolutely zero reason to ever bunt brings the legitimacy of his baseball knowledge into question. It's a shame, says Alec.
Never bunt.
Let's see, who else? I got tons of these. Lyle says one. I love this show. But hands down, the best part is when I, a 15-year-old high school football player, know more about random things than Lyle. I mean, who hasn't heard of Gilligan's Island? That's the absolute best part. Sorry to rip on you, Lyle, but, well, Brock and Salk arguing comes in a hot second. I think it absolutely is Lyle and his Lyle-ness. Why can't everyone just be as Lyle as Lyle? Yes, Lyle is now a verb. You're getting shots from a 15-year-old. Who knows more about the world than you do? Anyway, there's a lot.
He's probably on an island on his own.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on Gilligan's Island, which I totally know what that is.
There's a lot more on here, but that's all we got time for now, Brock. Just a couple of Lyle references on the. If you guys want to listen, you can download the podcast, of course, there at Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Even if you choose to say something mean, that's fine.
When are we going to get back to some Pete sounds?
You want to do that? Oh, I was going to do it at 9:30.
You want to do it at 9:30?
Yeah,
okay.
We're going to do that at 9:30. We got to talk a little bit more Mariners next, and we'll get back to some Pete sound at 9:30. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
I
are you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Upgrade your home cooling before the summer heat with Home Comfort Alliance and save up to $6,000 while taking 18 months to pay with zero interest. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See you for full details and disclaimer.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See you for full details and disclaimer.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cat there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, one more hour here of the Brock and Salk Show. How about that? We got one more hour together. Are you guys excited? Maury, get excited. Let me see that big smile,
Why are you
Maura.
calling me out?
Well, I don't know. You don't seem excited. Are you excited about our final hour together,
It's
Maura?
hard to match Brock's level.
That's true. When Brock goes high, don't the rest of us want to go low energy?
Yeah.
It's.
What about when I go low?
No, that's fine.
When is that?
Yeah, that's fine. We all sort of thank God when that happens. We're very thankful that you've decided to go low energy for a change.
Did you see the sound hound with the Pete Carroll interview yesterday? Woo! It was.
The interview wasn't even done, and
She
Maura
is
was
just
pumping it out.
Goodness, man, her fingers on that keyboard are like.
You're gonna break that. Stacy has to use that later. What's the matter with you? Yes.
I'm sorry. All right.
Yes, with her, and she's delicate. You can't break that.
I'm just
before
trying to
she uses
avoid
it.
a homestand that was.
How concerned are you after that? How concerned are you after seeing that? 5 of 6 at home. We went through the numbers. The numbers are pretty rough, man. The numbers for the homestand, again, if you just want to look in those 3 kind of big picture categories, we talked about the little things, and they do a lot of they did the little things well in this series. They didn't mess up the little things.
No.
The problem was the big things. They didn't walk, they didn't hit home runs, and they gave up a lot of them. In terms of, for the 6 games, they only had 4 home runs.
How many times they strike out in 6 games?
66.
Yeah, we're back to 11 strikeouts a game.
That's not.
They're just not putting the ball in play.
Yeah, they struck out 56 guys. I mean, like, strikeouts do happen.
Yep.
But if they're going to happen, and I'm not trying to get back on this train.
Michael,
the 11 strikeouts a game is too many.
Be careful here.
11 strikeouts a game is too many. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
But it's compounded by only taking 12 walks in those 6 games compared to giving up 22 and only hitting 4 home runs compared to 9. That's not winning baseball.
You ever, like, there's just occasions because I have to travel a fair amount. And, do you ever look at, like, the ESPN app while you kind of watch a game just that way?
Yeah.
And, if you go to the game cast, they immediately, like, put up a hitting, like the heat map.
Yes.
Holy smokes. There's a lot of just cold zones. I mean, just... the reality of this lineup with the injuries and everything that you're overcoming and some of the real now struggles that have shown themselves a little bit with Mastroboni and a young player in Williamson and where Tellez is in his career. And we just buried Solano earlier in the show. But you just kind of realize that, man, if teams really do not miss and pitch well against you and are capable of doing. And these weren't even like aces. You beat the only ace.
You beat the aces
in the 6 games.
Isn't that the craziest thing? Of that entire 6 games, the only pitcher you beat is Max Fried.
That's right. His first. Well, I don't think he got the loss.
No, but the only game you
knocked
won
him out
was
of the fight.
starting.
Yeah, and that's it. And so it wasn't as if you were seeing like just dude after dude after dude after dude. And yeah, there's some good bullpens, but I don't think Toronto and New York's bullpens are elite. And you just. Yeah, you reverted back. That felt like
a reversion.
It totally felt like a reversion.
It certainly looked more like what you'd seen in the past. And unfortunately,
a 550 OPS, a 180 average.
It also comes with a pitching staff that is now really beat up in the starting rotation. And, look, if you're going to take last year's offense and not have last year's pitching staff go with it, that's probably not going to cut it. Now, the bullpen actually, I think, looked pretty good. I know they gave up a couple of runs yesterday.
And Wu was fantastic, and Castillo finished strong.
There were bright spots. It was not... It didn't have the overall kind of disastrous feel that losing 5 of 6 at home can. Honestly, I say that
because only 2 were clunkers. The other 3 were right in those games. 6-3 loss, 6-3 loss. Right. You hit a home run, you get a crooked number.
And you do find a way to beat Max Fried. And you do know that Logan's about to come back and George is about to come back. And even Bryce, honestly, this should be a good thing for people, right? Like, at least now you're putting name to the problem. At least now we're not just sitting around wondering what's happening with Bryce Miller and why it's not working out. At least now we know, okay, there's a problem. He's got some inflammation in the back of the elbow, and it's not in the flexor bundle area. This was Justin Hollander yesterday with Bumpin' Stacy.
It's the backside of his right arm. It's not where UCL or flexor is. It's inflammation in the back of his arm, and I realize I'm on radio and now pointing at the backside of my elbow. But there's just some inflammation in there. So he had a cortisone shot yesterday. Again, he'll be down, I would anticipate, 3 to 4 days at that point with no throwing and let the cortisone do his work and then start throwing from there. As of now, we would anticipate him being eligible or active when he's eligible again or something close to that. So not serious.
So that is about as good a news as you could hope for with Bryce Miller, right?
Correct.
It's not a season-long, month-long kind of thing. And it at least gives us a reason why he's been having the problems that's more than just, well, his back's been kind of stiff. Like, no, there's something in the elbow. Okay, well, I can understand that.
You ever gotten a cortisone shot?
I've never had one.
Lyle, you got a cortisone shot back in the day, like Washington, you run the state title? No? More in all your marathons you run in cortisone shot? No?
You?
No. Actually, believe it or not, no.
Oh, weird. My dad's had them.
Has he?
Yeah, it helps.
Oh, it really helps.
Yeah, for a little while, though. It's not a permanent solution to anything. It's a temporary solution.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So the hope is that just kind of calms that thing down, and he should not have to miss too much time. And the hope is that George Kirby's got a great outing, this Sunday down in New Mexico, and get him back. And the hope is Logan, who was sitting at 94, 95 in a bullpen.
That would make a big difference, man. You get those 3 guys kind of back and doing their thing. That's the way you're supposed to be built.
And the hope is, quite honestly, and the hope is that this is a great thing. As it turns out, all this adversity, all these missing pieces, all the depth that you have built, all the injuries that you've had to overcome, when you get to August and September when it really matters, you hope that now we've got like 40 guys that we truly believe in, that if they've got to come up and down and be available, they can fill a role.
But today is also, and by the way, I kind of agree. I don't think the offense was that bad this weekend or this week. I don't think it was that bad. It's not as bad as those numbers. I just watching the games, I did not think the offense was as bad as the numbers looked. I think that they did hit a lot of balls hard. They did hit a lot of balls right at people. They didn't get a lot of good luck in the series. That happens. Yeah, I'm not saying the offense was great. I'm not saying it was even acceptable. I don't think it was as bad as those numbers indicate. The pitching, there were some problems. I mean, I saw some issues up and down in the pitching, the decision-making, and I do think those things kind of ended up costing them. I'm not pressing the full panic button on the offense yet because, honestly, they're still kind of like the way they keep battling is enough to keep me invested in what they're going to do. Today's an off day, though, and off days tend to be action days, certainly after losing 5 of 6. I do think, and I talked about it earlier, and it's not about him. I feel bad. He seems like a really nice guy, but you can't have a 305 OPS. Not May 15th. And that's where Donovan Solano's at. And just, we went through the numbers earlier. That's like 200 points below where any of these other guys that people love to bring up, Tommy La Stella, AJ Pollock, Colton Wong, like you name it. None of them were even close to 300 in an OPS. I mean, that's on base plus slugging. That number should be at a very minimum, absolute minimum, 550. Absolute bare minimum, it should be 550. And that is like you're a terrible player. But at 550, that's a bare minimum acceptability. You want it to be 700. 305? It's untenable at age 37. Untenable. I don't see how you can continue to run that out. All right. Brock, you said you wanted to hear more from Pete. We haven't even really gone through what Pete said about the end here in Seattle and how it's changed a little bit from maybe the story we thought was true a year and a half ago or so. That's coming up in what's called 20 minutes after everything you need to know next.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games that the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
The first Mariners Fireworks Night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop Fireworks Show, presented by T-Mobile after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a postgame show powered by the biggest global hits, fireworks, and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
JP with a flip, and they got him at first base. How in the world?
Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of all 6 Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a sing-along show on June 13th and a patriotic palooza on July 3rd. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, like 3 straight Mariners value games against the Orioles starting Tuesday, June 3rd. Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
And you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, up first is the schedule, which was released yesterday across the NFL. Brock, it's funny you said you don't like the leaks. You didn't seem to have a problem when Pete Carroll was leaking the preseason to us.
Hey, what a coincidence, huh? How about the opening game of preseason? Is that out?
I don't think that's out yet. Oh, there you go again.
Okay, so we just wait do you see?
Coming up here.
Wait do you see?
Coming up. That was fine, but other leaks are problematic.
Oh, it's not out yet? He speaks like an Australian. It's with a question mark. Oh, it's not out yet?
Of course. And you just know their PR guys looking at him like, you got to be kidding me. This is my life now?
Is this how it goes?
Right. Like, this is what I've got? I mean, I guess they've also kind of gone through John Gruden and a bunch of other stuff in recent years. So, I don't know. They're probably up for it. But, yeah, I'm sure there was a pretty big, like, oh, my gosh. The schedule is great, honestly. If you're a Seahawks fan, you got to love what the schedule makers did for the team. 4 primetime games, only a couple of short weeks. Like, honestly, everything they could possibly do for you, they did.
And I think HawkBlogger was right. You kind of, if you were to circle one game, and I remember this, I think in my 4 years of school, one time we opened up with a conference opponent, ASU, actually at Lyle's ASU. And what that did to the month of August is you got ready. It wasn't San Jose State. It wasn't a non-conference nobody. It was, yeah, man, in conference, and in this case, in division, an opponent who's come into your house and punched you in the face time after time after time here recently, and you get them in the opener. And I think that's an advantage. You know them. You know their personnel. You know their schemes. They don't know your personnel, and they don't know your offensive schemes.
Well, they kind of know your scheme because Kubiak was there.
But they don't know. They will have no real prep of what that actually looks like and the way you're going to play to your strengths within that scheme.
I'll go in a different direction. If I got to name a one little part of the schedule that I think will end up being crucial, how about end of November, beginning of December, week 13 at home against Minnesota, week 14 on the road at Atlanta. Neither one are division games, but both are conference games, and both are teams that could very well be in the same battle as you are for whether it's a wild card or whatever. So I'll circle those two together. They're coming like in between Tennessee and Indy, two out-of-conference games that honestly you probably want to circle as wins if you're hoping to get to 10 this year or 11. So, Minnesota and Atlanta, two difference-making key games for me right there in week 13 and 14.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We've spent the morning kind of talking through this homestand and some of the problems that they had. Well, they get a day off today, and then you go on the road. It doesn't get a whole lot easier. Yes, you got to go to San Diego
for 3.
Oof, first time they played.
When was the last time they played 3?
I know that's changed. They're going to do 3 and 3
Eddie's
now.
really involved, and Vetter's got that trophy. He's like, we're not doing 2.
Lyle still doesn't know who Eddie Vedder is, so be careful. He doesn't know about the Vedder Cup. It's confusing to him.
Gotcha.
By the way, you know who did a nice job with the Vedder Cup stuff yesterday was Sarah Merrifield. What did you think of Sarah Merrifield the last couple days? Very solid for her first 2, right?
Yep.
I guess she's just filling in, but I thought she did a really nice job on the Root Sports broadcast.
3 in San Diego, 3 in South Chicago against the White Sox.
Now, you know that since the announcement of Chicago Pope, the White Sox and Cardinals are both winning.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Is it really?
Yes.
You believe it?
Do I believe it? I mean, it's right there in print. They've won the game since the announcement. The White Sox are above 500, and the Cardinals are winning.
And then 4 down in Houston.
Yeah, so that's going to be a rough one. They got to get this thing together.
We're going to take one game at a time. And, it sounds cliche, obviously, but that's what you have to do. And we feel pretty good each time we go to battle with this group that we have in the clubhouse. And, whoever we have on the mound, we're excited. We think we got a good chance to win. So not concerned about it. We'll be ready to play and ready to fight at game time, and that's what our guys do.
They will be, but they got a lot of injuries now to deal with. Yesterday, they had to scratch J.P. Crawford. He was a late scratch before the game, and that just sort of compounded all of the pitching injuries. You know where you're at. Kind of waiting for Logan Gilbert to return. Justin Hollander had more on him yesterday with Bumpin' Stacy.
With Logan, he threw a bullpen yesterday. It was 92, 94. I think his last pitch in the pen was 95. He said it was 90% effort. So I was told there'd be no math, but that seems good. He felt good afterwards, which is obviously the most important thing beyond the velocity. And we'll just see where Logan's at over the next couple of days and when he's ready for his next bullpen and go from there. Again, we feel like it's going great so far. There are injuries, and you can never truly predict. It's art and science when he's going to be back, but we feel like he's definitely on the right track.
You know what it feels like? Remember when Mooney had kind of his back or shoulder, and we just kind of had to watch all year. When Wu had his elbow a couple years, you kind of watch it all year. I think with Bryce and Logan and George now, for the remaining 120 games, we really will have a watch just about every single time out.
Yeah, I think that's true. You just the nervousness, unfortunately, and that's just kind of the way
You've
it is.
been able to take it for granted in remarkable ways the last few years. That's not going to happen now.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Yeah, we're going to go through a bunch of this Pete Carroll stuff here in a minute. So you know what? I'll play you something else fun. You want some Mike Mayock from yesterday?
Edmonton Oilers advancing. How about that?
Oh, I was watching that.
Oh, I know
we were glued to the TV last night watching that. Yeah, I've definitely been rooting for the Oilers.
Toronto.
I'm not rooting for them.
Just all over themselves again.
Isn't it great? There's nothing quite like watching that franchise vomit all over itself in the biggest moments year after year.
And every year.
I love it. It's just great.
Let me read you a tweet. How about this tweet? Who do you think this tweet is from? It is so predictable. I won't say which major league team. Another year and another year of inconsistent hitting. Same thing for the last 12 years. Season essentially over early May. How can a team not hit for 12 years? I feel bad for the manager. One of the best managers in our lifetime. Even he can't turn this franchise around. They're doomed. Kirk Herbstreit, Cincinnati Reds.
bizarre, right?
What is it about DJ, me, Herbie?
I know, you guys are insane.
So passionate about
Well, you
our
really want
hometown
you want baseball to be like football.
Yes.
It's not.
Poor Tito. 12 years. Can't hit.
Hey, for the it's early crowd, or, the it's never early crowd, just go back and look at the Minnesota Twins. God-awful start to the year.
What do they want, like 12 in a row?
10 in a row.
10 in a row?
Yeah, they just sweep of the Orioles yesterday in a double.
Last year with their sausage, too, right?
Yep.
There's just something, weird.
That's everything you need to know.
Baseball is
I
impossible.
heard a great reference to the Maple Leafs the other day, but I don't know if I can say it on the air. I think I can.
You sure?
I think it borders on something that people would think is offensive, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
You want to whisper in my
I think
ear?
it's okay.
Okay.
I heard that
You're scaring me.
I think it's okay. More, if it's not okay,
Dump
tell
it.
Lyle to dump this. But I think it's okay.
Lyle, do you know where the dump button is?
I think it's
Lyle,
okay.
you
This is
know
what
where
I
the dump
heard.
button is?
Yes. That the Maple Leafs, Brock, are a lot like a sports bra. Lots of support, no cups. Pretty funny. That's appropriate, right? That's not inappropriate. I think it's okay. We better go to break. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What does the release of River Craycraft say about the wide receiver room?
It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing for Craycraft because he's a Coug, a solid player in this league, right? Just a consistent practice squad, special teams. But it also shows that they are interested in some young talent over there, 6'1", 185. So there's competition in that receiver room.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
All right, Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino in this August. I know you're ready for luxury, right? It's Snoqualmie Casino and a hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Let's talk about the hotel. It opens up August here, 2025. It's going to have the awesome views, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, destination spa, huge 2,000-seat entertainment center, convention center, and all with new food venues as well, new restaurants. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's all at Seattle's closest, which is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Rick Riz here for
for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports at 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, I'm glad that wasn't too inappropriate. I thought it was okay. 509 says Salk plus Leaf support joke equals absolutely savage.
You want a hot take? I'll give you a hot take.
Huh?
I haven't had a hot take this morning.
It is funny watching the Leafs just blow it every time, though, man. It is unbelievable. I mean, the amount that you got to understand the amount that town loves its hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, they are obsessed with it. And it is very akin to the Red Sox pre-2004, right? Except that they don't even get to the Cup Finals. Like, it just
I don't like to say Couged it. Like, that's so rude. It's, whatever. That's just mean.
It's over.
I'm done
You're
with
over
that.
that.
I got way too many Coug friends.
But it is.
But they just leaf it. Like, every single year, they just leaf it.
It's so
they
funny.
leaf it and leaf it, leaf it.
This one's not entirely their fault, too, though. I mean, the goalie got hurt on what might have been kind of a cheap play. And, I don't know, that is a little bit too bad. But at the same time, like, who cares? It's funny to watch them suffer.
Before we play some Pete Sound and react to it, can I just say something, a little hot take?
Okay.
And I don't know if this can be popular or unpopular. I don't know, how the Northeasterners that moved out here feel, or California or whatever. Let me just say, Western Washington, when it comes to donuts, is the best in the country.
I would agree with that.
From Happy Donuts to Factory Donuts to Top Pot Donuts. Colorado is horrendous. And I don't know if it's the altitude, the thin air. I don't know what it is. It's horrendous. But Western Washington, come back here for the apple fritters. And there's best donuts in anywhere that I've traveled in the country. I used to, you remember this, back in the day when I would hop in on Fridays and do shows at times in studios. I'd try to, just as a friendly guest, bring donuts as a thank you to the radio station, whatever. Nobody has donuts like here. What is it?
I think the thing that, if you want to get deep into this, I think that the donuts here are well fried. Like they seem to have like a little bit more crispness to them than other donuts. And I like kind of a cakey donut, which you'll find a lot of here, more than those like pastry-ish donuts like the Krispy Kreme. That's not for me.
Yep.
I like kind of a donut that's got some heft to it.
Man, it's
and I think you get a lot of that here in Seattle. Really. And Brock, you're not even mentioning some of the other donut chains. I mean, there's like so many around here. Mighty O right by me makes
That's
awesome
really good.
donuts. I mean, like it's just like it's quite the thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very, very
no,
good
like
donuts.
that's not even a hot take.
All right, good.
Kind of a warm.
Give me a hot take
warm
from Pete. Give me a Pete hot take.
All right. Well, I said this earlier. Pete's relationship with the way things happened is always something that is worth
that, and his relationship with rules. You can't hit. What does that really mean? You can't. We're going to have to fine you and
Right.
take a draft pick away.
You are?
Well, what about recruiting rules? Maybe at SC.
All of it
What
is-
about fishing regulations of when you can fly fish?
Everything is sort of up for gray area in Pete Carroll's world. So we asked again on the split here with the Seahawks and what happened, a year and a half ago.
It came to me that there was a time that we probably were about to face one of the bigger changes, shifts in the time in the program, and I really been dedicated, as John had been dedicated too.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you think he meant by that? We were coming to a time where there was going to be a bigger shift in the program. What do you think
was
that
happening wasn't working. They needed to make a change.
So what do you think it was? Do you think
assistant
it was
coaches?
Okay. So we were coming to a point where there was going to be, I think
You're coming to a point where both your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator could not coach in the league.
And I think that shift for me, again, just kind of reading into some of this and knowing what I know, was Pete, you're not going to be in charge of picking your coaches anymore.
Sounds right.
In the groceries.
I mean, that sounds right.
Right. Like we're coming to a point where we're going to make a big shift
Because
here.
there have been too many in a row that haven't worked.
And we got to give Johnny, and we got to empower Johnny and empower the personnel people to help the GM. We got to empower him as an actual GM to manage the rest
I mean,
of it.
yes, but to me, it's not even that one. To me, it's much more just like, hey, these last couple offensive and defense coordinators just haven't worked. It's been 7 years since either of those positions.
So we're coming to that point, and then continue.
John Snyder to doing this thing in great fashion together, and we had done that, I thought, and it was really John's turn. It was his turn to take over, and I know I had the lead voice and all of that all through that time, and I was really hoping that John could become the general manager of the club and run it, and if we could do that, and we'd figure a way to get out of that, we did.
John was the general
He was
manager,
the general manager.
but you know what Pete means, just
Correct.
being the guy with final say.
Yes.
And so Jody was great about it, and so we just kind of agreed upon it that if we could work it out, I would support the thought, and that's kind of how it happened. So it's a little bit different than maybe how people perceived it.
I would support the thought. What does that even mean? I love Pete so much.
I do too.
But something like I would support the thought. That's not a phrase that I'm familiar with. Are you?
Do you know any other human in your life experience that uses that term?
That uses phrases like Pete does that make no sense?
They make sense to him.
They don't make any sense to anybody else, which is why, again, I will come back to this little line from a movie. Thank you, Maura, for rolling this in earlier. I don't know how many people have seen the movie Lost Highway. It is a random, bizarre... Brock, you would hate this movie.
Yep.
It is a David Lynch movie from the mid to late 90s. David Lynch is weird. I mean, he's one of the strangest characters ever to make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he made this movie that essentially makes no sense. One guy kind of turns into another guy, and Bill Pullman turns into Balthazar Getty halfway through the movie. It's very unclear why or how or any of that. But there's this amazing scene where after his house has been broken into, they're interviewing Bill Pullman, the cops are, about his house, and they ask him if he keeps a camera.
I like to remember things my own way.
What do you mean by that?
How I remembered them. Not necessarily the way they happened.
Right, and I think with Pete, it's always good to take everything with a little grain of salt. Like, I'm not saying he's lying. He's not. It's the way he remembers it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether everyone would necessarily have the same memory of that. Here he is. He goes on a little bit longer on, some of the differences that were going to happen with him and John.
And John got his chance. I had told him the first day we ever talked that I was going to help him be the best general manager in the history of professional sports. I was a little lofty, a little lofty at the time. He was like 38 at the time. He's looking at me like, what the heck is this guy saying? But I meant it really. And so I think that through the time, he has developed, it was kind of his turn. And there was a lot of big changes that were going to happen and that were going to, they were going to have to come. And I thought, we might not agree on all of those changes, because I was going to hang with some guys more than maybe he would at the time. And the changes they made have obviously turned out great. They got a good coach and a good staff, and they're rolling, and so more power to them.
Mm-hmm. think there's some clarity there. Right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that John just needed to really be the one to make the choices on personnel, on coaches, on staffing, and obviously they kept so much of the personnel department, that whole silo, intact.
Okay, so let me ask you something. This is a question, a legitimate question. And I've never, I guess maybe we've talked about, but I don't remember ever having this conversation before. Do you think John went to Jody and said, either I run the show or I'm out? I just listening to all of that, knowing, right, John had interviews in Green Bay and in Detroit and all of the other kind of conversations that we've heard about with John and whether or not, and I think there's even more that will eventually come out on places and people that were interested in bringing John in. Do you think he just finally said, look, I'm really happy. I enjoy this, but I got to run the show. And if I'm not running the show, then I'm not going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And if I'm Jody, right, and John brings that to me, I now have a choice. Either I can say yes or no. And if I want John to stay, and I think obviously she did because he's still here, then you go to Pete and say either, hey, man, are you okay with John running the show and being final word after all these years? And my guess is Pete Carroll, who at this state, who swore after New England he would never be in a situation like that again. Swore to himself, I will never be in a situation again where I'm not in control. Pete's going to say no to that.
Yeah.
You think that's as simple as that?
I don't know if I can support that thought.
Okay, and I'm not. Okay,
I just did it pretty well. You didn't even catch it the first
because
time
I had to. It's an honest question.
Yeah, I saw some of that in the social media channels. And again, this is just kind of instinct because none of us really know. Just knowing John Schneider's way that he's weathered this business and the sustainability he's had in it, Salk, in a very volatile business, I don't think he goes around Pete's back and is willing to kind of burn that bridge. Saw a lot of people, not a lot of people, but definitely folks like, wow.
I don't think that's what he is. I don't see that as burning a bridge.
I think it was with Pete. I think he first went to Pete and said, you know what, if we're going to do this, we got to make these changes.
I mean, there's no reason
I don't
both
think
of
he
those
went
things.
to Jody first is what I'm saying, or to Burt
that's
Cole.
fair. I guess I'm saying that like those things aren't necessarily exclusive of each other. That ultimately, hey, I'm John Schneider. Maybe I have an offer in hand.
Right.
And I'm not saying, again, this is all hypothetical. I'm John Schneider. I got an offer in hand. Somebody wants me to come run their program. And I'm going to be 100% in charge, not nominally in charge. And I finally come back and say, hey, look, like I got a really good offer.
Yep.
And if I'm Jody at that point, say, okay, well, we want to keep you.
Yeah,
so I'm going to make you in charge.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And Pete says, well, I'm not okay with that. I got to go.
You know what? I'll support that thought. I think it was the ownership and the team had to make a decision, and we felt that at the time. Like, okay, are we going to continue and empower Pete to make these changes and make this voice, or is it time to let Johnny have that opportunity to find kind of the new coach and the whole new staff? And they decided on the latter there.
Yeah.
I think it was in some ways that simple. But the process to get there, I don't think,
By the way,
John...
it could be a little of all of these things, right? It doesn't have to just be one thing. I mean, it could be the assistant coaches and the need for change. It could be, as Pete said himself, like he had a lot to learn and kind of going back on his scheme. Part of this is Pete Carroll's a defensive coach. The defense stunk.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was not a sustainable situation. You can't have a bad defense for a team that is a defensive-minded team. Like
Just stop the run.
That's not going to work, right? So we did ask him, all right, hey, what'd you learn in your year away?
Quite a bit. That's a really loaded question for me because I had the opportunity to watch JV high school football, varsity high school football, UW, all the guys that are coaching all over the country, in the league, and I really was able to find a perspective that was totally unique to ones that I had in the last 15 or so years. Really, no, the last 20-something years, and because when you get away and you relieve yourself of all of the day-to-days, and the moment-to-moment concerns, you can see things differently. And it was a marvelous year in terms of football.
So, and he goes on to talk about kind of watching games.
Even watching JV football at Mercer Island High School.
Just like, hey, why can't they stop it even though they know they're coming?
When they offset the back in the gun.
Right.
You know this play is going to be running.
So what is he saying? If you offset the back to the right, the run's going to the left?
90% of the time, right? It's going to go to the left. You kind of dictate that with, now you can run a draw and obviously pass play and you can mix some things, but it's like the boiled down to the simplest level, right? Like you offset them there and yeah, you're going to kind of run. Why can't we play to some of those tendencies? Why can't we defend that better? Why can't you stop it when you know, or why can't you hit it when you know the fastball is coming down the middle? And remember, this guy's like life the last 25 years. Just full speed ahead in the windshield of it all, every single day, doing all that you do as the head coach and the leading voice in there with all the personnel and all the coaches and all the scouting, and actually, step away and just watch some of the simplicity kind of hits you, I think, right in the face. And I think that did for him. And honestly, how many situations, as we just kind of talk through this, how many times do you find a situation in professional sports of all places, the most volatile, feisty, nasty business areas, that you can look at that separation of a legend, as we debated with HawkBlogger, like one of the most revered and beloved. And it feels like he found a great fit.
Yeah.
And it was just the right time to
he
step
found
away.
peace. And
for John to have Mike McDonald and this whole operation, like, man, this is just, to have it work out for both, to be in this opportunity is very rare.
Yeah, I would say you're right. It ended about as peacefully and as classy as it could possibly end.
Yes.
And partly because it had been so long, it was just time. Partly because they didn't have a terrible year. He didn't go 2-15 on the way out the door. Belichick had that awful year on the way out the door. He didn't have that.
Nope.
And so it was more just kind of time.
Yep.
Right? But I will say I'm surprised. I am still surprised Pete came back. I really didn't think it was going to happen. And maybe that's on me. I probably should. He talked about that yesterday and how much he just still loves ball. And maybe that was kind of crystal clear to him over the course of the year.
Had I not seen him at UW practice, standing in the stands watching practice, had I not seen him over there as much as I heard he was over there, right? It was more obvious with Belichick because he had to be on the field with the whistle and his purple,
because he doesn't have anything else. Well, he didn't anyway. There was nothing. There's nothing else going on in Belichick's life.
So we thought.
Right, exactly. But with Pete, I guess I think of him as so interested, a Renaissance man.
Dad.
Just a Renaissance
Professor.
man, interested in a lot of different things. I thought he would be so consumed, with the news, but also with teaching at USC and trying to help this person and trying to do that he might just say, hey, I'm done. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying having more time in my life to do all these things. And that was not the case at all. Kind of quite the opposite. He just said he needed to get back to playing. So good on him. I am a little bit surprised. I
wasn't, because his energy is just so different. It's just
true.
So unique.
Yeah.
50 years of that.
He didn't mind talking about that.
Well, it had nothing to do with how old you are. It's how much passion you have for what you're doing. I don't think. I can't equate age to it at all. But it's just kind of a natural thing to do. If you want to go for it, you got to go for it every day. And if I'm asking these guys to bring it, I got to bring it too. And we'll go out on the field here in an hour or so, and we're going to be pumped up, and guys are going to be running around and cheering and having a good time doing it, and they'll be hauling ass everywhere we go. That's the only way we know how to do it. So I got to make sure that I'm doing it too.
And he can still do it, Salk.
There's no doubt.
How old's Larry?
My dad?
Yeah.
76.
76. Pete's 72. I think my dad is 75, right? 1950. He's 75. I think old Papa's like 78 now. And to think at 72, he's got this kind of juice to do this every single day. It is mystifying to his peers.
It is pretty amazing.
Seriously, Marv Levy did it, but he did not quite do it.
Do you think Pete's visiting the Regenikine circle or something? How does he possibly have that much energy?
I don't know.
It really is remarkable.
It is truly astounding.
Especially given the hours the coaches all of it. It is pretty crazy.
Yes.
So you asked about Gino and whether that deal got done on that crazy plane ride?
No. Heck no. No, I was trying to get that done from the moment this thing happened. I was hoping that we could do something.
Of all the things that I do love about Pete.
Heck no. What do you mean? That was when it just happened. You'd just been hired.
No, not just. It was a while earlier. You get hired and the first thing you do is try to trade for Geno Smith? I'm sorry. I just don't get it. I just don't see that.
He loves that guy.
He does love him.
Yep.
Man, he loves him some Geno.
He really does. Yeah.
Is that just the devil you know is better than the devil you don't?
I think so. And being willing, okay, not every quarterback is perfect, right? There's very, very few, maybe an Allen and a Lamar, they're pretty close to it, or Joe Burrow. But everybody else, right? Everybody else in that kind of next tier. In this one, I love just his passion and his heart and his grit and his competitiveness. Like, there's just things that he truly, truly loves about this guy, and he's willing to go for it. And, and I think also at this age and stage, it was not going to be a 22-year-old, 23-year-old running the program.
No, and I think that part probably makes sense. So you look around, and Gino's kind of the obvious choice.
Yep.
It is interesting. You talk there about developing quarterbacks, and earlier in the day, we talked to Mike Mayock, who I actually wanted to ask Pete about this yesterday, but we just kind of had so many other things that we never quite got to it. He did talk about in the Milroe pick, kind of that idea of actually trying to develop a quarterback.
Philosophically, I love what they did because very few NFL teams are intentional about the quarterback position, in my opinion, the way they should be. So basically, it's two moves, right? They go out and they trade Gino at age 35 for a 27-year-old Sam Darnold. They pay Sam a reasonable starting salary that they can effectively get out of after 2 years for plus or minus $65 million and a reasonable dead cap hit. And then they draft a developmental quarterback behind them. So there's a plan A and a plan B.
And essentially with the pick that was traded for. I mean, like, you could certainly look at it as you traded Geno Smith for Sam Darnold and Jalen Milroe.
Yep.
Is that a good trade?
Well, Eric DeCosta with the Ravens would tell you that, it's about volume, right? And not only with draft
Give
picks.
yourself multiple bites at that apple.
That's right. Not only with your overall draft picks, but that position as well.
Mm-hmm. And you're spending less to do it.
Yes.
And
you're younger.
You're younger, you're spending less, and you get in Milroe a lottery ticket that could turn into something unbelievable or might not really work out at all.
And I would also add to this, and it's the smallest of those, because, the most important is that third round, opportunity, that lottery ticket, what you're invested in Sam Darnold, he's got to be the guy. But I would also say having someone like Drew Lock right in the middle of that is not bad either. That's a big upgrade from Sam Howell.
Sure.
Right? Just to have somebody that's been there and done it and seen it, and if he's got to play, can be totally competent for you, for a game or two as well. So you kind of have volume in everyone and checking every one of those.
He had a lot to say about Milroe too, and he got me super, super excited, and then had to bring me back down to earth.
You got to calm down a little bit though, and you might be talking about week 1, but year 3. Oh, and in our business, that's a long way to wait, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to see him throw the ball in the dirt, and you're going to go, why did we draft that guy in the third? So you just got to put it all in perspective, okay? And then my pet peeve in the NFL is, how are we developing quarterbacks? Why have we missed so often? And now you look at Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Geno and their revitalization. Let's develop this kid properly and not show him to the world till he's ready.
Okay, that's fine, but at the same time...
So if you look at Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson and the way they can run, okay, let's start with their leg. Both of them are special with their ability with the ball in their hands to extend and or run for positive yardage and touchdowns, okay? Both of them fly. They're plus or minus 4.4 guys. Milroe is 20 pounds heavier and faster. And with all three of them, like, people ask me how fast they are, and my answer is, for all three of them, is as fast as they need to be. They run away from safeties. They run away from corners. They're just different. They're different.
Yeah. You know what line you need to cut out of that more? Well, for me, maybe sometimes when my energy is a little
You got to calm down.
You got to calm down a little bit. For Mora, maybe if we have another dinner next year in Arizona or whatever. For Salk, when you get on this Jalen Milroe choo-choo train, you just got to calm down a little bit,
maybe.
Please.
Yeah,
take
maybe.
it down a notch.
I buy that. I know I do. I know I need to calm down. But when I hear that he can run like those guys and he's 20 pounds bigger and he got a cannon for an arm and there's a lot of upside there.
Sure is.
I know that I should agree with what Brian Nemhauser told us earlier, that as soon as I get out there to training camp, the first eyes I should have are on Sam Darnold.
Yep.
They're going to be on Jalen Milroe. I'm sorry, they are. I can't help it.
Yeah, the same.
That's fine, but I'm going to be looking at number 6 before I look at number 14.
Yeah, and to kind of round this whole conversation out, you know what else is remarkable? Pete Carroll would have loved this QB room too.
Oh my God!
As much as he loves,
Pete would have loved Jalen Milroe.
Yes, and Sam Darnold, USC guy, son of a plumber, West Coast guy.
True,
right? And he loved him some Drew Lock too. He believed in that sucker.
Well, except when he had to start him, and he nearly had a heart attack over it. Tried to drag Gino out of the locker room to make it happen.
That too. But he would have. He honestly would have loved this team.
Yeah.
and the personnel now that has kind of come is, again, it's just very rare.
We said this a while ago. If Pete Carroll could have hired Mike McDonald to be his defensive coordinator 5 years ago, a lot of real good would have happened.
No question.
I mean, that really, of all the things, is probably what you'll just come back to. It's just not having the young, innovative, excited, energetic next guy on both the offensive and especially defensive sides of the ball. And maybe it was hard on the offensive side of the ball because you were dealing with Russell Wilson and kind of that whole messiness around Russ and what he wanted to do being different from what he was good at. And I think a lot of the rest of the league knew it. On defense, you just needed to find somebody. You needed to find the next guy, like he had found Monty Kiffin years ago. I mean, like you've got to. He just needed to innovate. And I'm curious to see if he can do that. Now, he's got Chip Kelly on offense.
Patrick Graham, I think, on defense had been there. And
he's interviewed for some head coaching gigs. And actually, I think was pretty impressive in those interviews, if I remember right. He was a name we talked about here, right, as a possibility?
Yep. So to round it all out, to find both of those in really good places is very rare.
That's cool.
In this business.
How am I going to root for Pete but not for Gino?
Hold that thought.
How do I do that?
Accept that thought.
I'll just...
Take that thought.
I'll support the thought.
What it is and support that
I'll
thought.
support the thought.
Like support.
That is really fun. Yeah, like the Maple Leafs. Come on, that was funny, wasn't it?
It was pretty good.
That wasn't dirty.
No. And you prefaced it well enough.
Just, I just wanted to make sure.
I supported that thought.
Just like the sports bra did.
Yes.
All right, we got to get out of here. You're not in tomorrow? You should do Blue 88?
Bro, I got San Antonio on my mind. Got the Riverwalk. I got the Brahmas.
Are you going to go hang out with the Brahmas?
The 1-6 Brahmas versus the 1-6 Showboats.
Can't you? You only have how many of these left? Can't you just not show up? Call in sick.
This is the penultimate.
Why can't you call in sick
Second
for these?
To last.
Just
Maybe
don't
ever.
go.
Maybe ever.
If the tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, if you don't go and nobody watches the broadcast, does it matter? Does anyone know you're not there?
It's a good thought.
Bump and Stacey are coming in next. I'll still catch you guys tomorrow morning. G's got a hot take on the schedule that I know he wants to give at 8:30. And until then, the hay.
Barn.
See everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacey.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games that the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacey. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Enjoy efficient heating and cooling, saving energy and reducing utility bills. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months same as cash financing. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. Is I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what